This page is the front cover of the 64Dream magazine. It highlights the game F-Zero X, with a large image of Captain Falcon in his vehicle, and several driver characters featured to the right. The main text states, "Games will change, free-to-play will change." It also mentions a release date of July 14th and a price of 490 yen. Below is the game Pokemon Stadium, highlighting a release date of August 1st, and mentions 4 titles, and Mushi Fishing 64, Dukuro 2, Olympic Hockey Nagano. At the bottom is Bomberman Hero and Zelda, Ocarina of Time. There is an insert mentioning popular characters are packed, special seal included, showing a Mario character. The top banner of the magazine states, MYCOM MOOC, Volume 22. Everything? Nintendo 64 Information Magazine. Nintendo will relocate its head office in 2000. This page is an advertisement for the Nintendo 64 game 64 Trump Collection. Alice's Waku Waku Trump World, a Japan-exclusive title. The game is advertised as a desperate Trump battle with Strategy Law Zero. It features a story mode and is announced as a new release, scheduled for July 1998 at a price of 6,980 yen. The ad showcases cartoonish characters based on playing card suits and ranks, with a prominent image of a white rabbit wearing glasses, hinting at an Alice in Wonderland theme. The publisher is listed as Bottom Up. This page is an advertisement for the Nintendo 64 game, Alice in Cyberland, which is themed around Alice in Wonderland and playing cards. The page highlights the game's story mode that unfolds across 7 stages and 7 battles within the Wonderland setting. It also boasts 15 different types of card games to enjoy. The visuals feature a large image of the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland wearing glasses, and the game depicts cardsuit characters as fighters with swords and spears. The bottom of the page displays screenshots showcasing various gameplay scenes from Alice in Cyberland, a game that was released exclusively in Japan. This page is an advertisement for various Game Boy games from J-Wing. It features Dino Land 2, a game where you breed and raise unique dinosaurs, and it includes an original animal encyclopedia. Go! Go! Hitchhike is a space-themed action game where you battle enemies called Dohyo and try to find space dragons. There's J-League Supporter Soccer, a football game featuring Japanese J-League teams and international teams to compete with. Bug Professor is about collecting, raising, and battling rare insects to become the best collector. Fishing Master is a fishing game where the goal is to catch rare fish, featuring a fishing encyclopedia and communication battle mode. Finally, Go! Go! Land is an action game set underground where you choose a partner and overcome obstacles to reach the goal. This page is the contents page for the July issue of a magazine, highlighting Games Will Change, Marylebone Will Change, as a special feature with interviews. F-Zero X is prominently featured with a Release Date Decided announcement. The page lists new software information for the N64, including The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Banjo-Kazooie, Star Soldier, Vanishing Arts, and Winback. Other N64 games mentioned are Super B-Daemon, Battle Phoenix 64, Dual Rock 2, GQ World Soccer, World Cup France 98, Rakuga Kids, and Olympic Hockey Nagano 98. There are also titles such as Design Emons 3D, Super Robot Spirits, Choro Q64, One-A-Guy Monster, and 64 Trump Collection. Alice's Waku Waku Trump World. The page also has sections covering SFC and GB games, like Illusionary Journey, Meteoroid Parts Collection 2, World Soccer GB, Pocket Family GB, Reckless Crew 98, Challenge Puzzle, High Pressure Boy, Dr. Mario, Heisei no Onigashima, Early Oshikuri Quiz, Rockman and Forte, and Sea-Nur Fishing 2. Regular features include an N64 question box, monthly news, and series projects such as Erebon's Pokemon Paradise, Sorryuke Mario Parents Course Special, and Sweet Bomberman. Sections like Mail from Heaven 64, Rock On Dream Club, Serial Manga, and Present Page are also listed, along with staff and publication details. This Japanese magazine page presents an editorial department big prediction release calendar for upcoming Nintendo 64 games, spanning from May to winter 1998. The calendar reflects a shift toward more concrete release dates for titles like F-Zero X and Pokemon Stadium, with expectations for further news at E3. The schedule is broken down by month, with May featuring F-Zero X, Extreme G, and a Japanese pachinko game. June includes International Superstar Soccer 98 and Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth. July boasts Super Robot Spirits and Penny Racers. August brings Pokemon Stadium and Blast Corps. Summer includes Banjo-Kazooie, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Buck Bumble. Autumn anticipates Turok 2 and various Japanese titles. Winter 1998 lists Kindaichi Case Files and Winback. A undecided section at the bottom suggests more future N64 possibilities. A Japanese gaming magazine featured 2 N64 game rankings. The first, Reader's Choice Anticipated New Games Top 20, showcased upcoming titles. The Legend of Zelda. Ocarina of Time led the list despite delays, followed by highly anticipated titles such as Mother 3, F-Zero X, Paper Mario, and Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. The second ranking, Best-Selling N64 Software Top 10, reflected sales from April to May 1998. GameCube Powerful Pro Baseball 5 was number 1, with Yoshi's Story, Bomberman Hero, and other popular titles like Super Mario 64 and Mario Kart 64 also appearing. The rankings noted Zelda's continued anticipation and Digimon 3D's debut. The text also mentioned the upcoming E3, revealing more N64 software. A pickup section highlighted FIFA Road to World Cup 98, focusing on the World Cup excitement. A reader survey reveals top 10 lists for the Nintendo 64. The first ranks manga/anime desired as N64 games, with Detective Conan at the top. Another list highlights fun N64 games, excluding the above, led by the Resident Evil series, followed by Final Fantasy, Pokemon, and others. Capcom is developing N64 and 64DD versions of Resident Evil. Finally, a purchase graph tracks N64 sales over time, marked by key events like the launch, Mario Kart 64's release, price drops, and upcoming software like Pokemon Stadium and Zelda. The text stresses that strong software, like Mario Kart 64, drives console sales and anticipates future success with upcoming game releases. This page is dedicated to F-Zero X, highlighting its release date set for July 14th. The bold text proclaims, "Thunderous Roar comes on July 14th," and "This year's summer is unusually hot." The article describes the game as featuring incredibly high-speed races, reaching over 1,000 kilometers per hour, machine collisions, and the strategic use of Z and R triggers for boosting and attacking opponents. It mentions that skilled players can even intentionally crash into rivals without taking damage, emphasizing the intense one-on-one battles. The game supports 1 to 4 players, with 4-player battles being particularly exciting. Screenshots showcase in-game action with HUD elements displaying lap times, speed, and player rankings. Release information notes the publisher as Nintendo, the genre as racing, the price at 5,800 yen, and compatibility with the Rumble Pack. This page is about the 4-player battle mode in an N64 racing game, highlighting a mystery slot feature. During a race, if a player retires, a slot machine appears on their screen. The slot machine has symbols like the Donkey Kong mark, X mark, and Pilot mark. It's hinted that lining up the slot symbols causes something interesting to happen. The page also showcases screenshots of gameplay with the slot machine activated. The lower part of the page introduces 2 racers for the featured game. First, there's Kate and Glenn, a popular female singer known throughout the galaxy. She has participated in F-Zero Grand Prix events multiple times. She's described as having excellent driving skills and is loved by her fans. Her machine is called Super Piranha, a colorful and feminine vehicle, but its true capabilities are still a mystery. Next is Roger Buster, whose tagline is Space Carrier. He's known for taking on any dangerous job. This time, he's participating in the race because he damaged the F-Zero machine Mighty Hurricane that he was entrusted to deliver. To make amends, he decided to enter the race himself. A screenshot of the game, Mighty Hurricane, is also featured, displaying the race interface and racer standings. This page is all about the upcoming Pokemon Stadium game. It's heavily focused on Pikachu, with the headline screaming, "Pikachu appears in Pokemon Stadium!" They are really pushing how cute Pikachu is in 3D, mentioning its expressive face and saying fans will be devoted to it. The article emphasizes the impressive graphics for the moves in the N64 version and how smoothly everything animates. It encourages players to raise their Pokemon in the Game Boy games to prepare them for battles in Stadium, warning against using any bug exploits. The page highlights some key details about Pokemon Stadium. It's published by Nintendo and set for release on August 1st, categorized as a battle and encyclopedia genre game. It will cost 6,800 yen and comes bundled with the GB pack, allowing you to use your Game Boy Pokemon in the game. It supports 1 to 4 players. Another highlight is Jinx, who humorously declares, "I will also appear," on the page. Screenshots show Pikachu in battle, and a Jinx in a battle scenario, showcasing the in-game graphics and move selections. The moves shown for Pikachu are Speed Star, Thundershock, 100,000 Volt, and Payday. For Jinx, the moves are Sleep, Mirror Move, Fly, and Good Bird, likely Drill Peck. This page showcases the game Pokemon Stadium. It features Pikachu using its signature move, 10,000 Volt Attack, which is described as a sure kill move. Screenshots display Pikachu unleashing this powerful electric attack against other Pokemon such as Patera, Aerodactyl, and Palsheen, Parasect, highlighting the effectiveness of the move. The on-screen text boxes are game dialogues, showcasing the move being used and its impact during battle. This page is all about the excitement of Pokemon coming to the N64, showcasing the leap to 3D graphics from the Game Boy era. It features screenshots from a Pokemon game, highlighting battles with Aerodactyl versus Pikachu, and the option menu during battles. The page then shifts focus to Water-type Pokemon that are also making an appearance, presenting Gyarados, Cloyster performing the move Double Team, Lapras, and Starmie using Hyper Beam. The text suggests that Electric-type Pokemon like Pikachu might have an advantage in these battles. This page is all about the graphical prowess of the N64, as showcased in the game Pokemon Stadium. The article highlights the impressive graphics for special moves, far beyond what was possible on the Game Boy, with smoothly animated and powerful-looking attacks. Screenshots demonstrate various Pokemon moves, such as Machoke's Karate Chop, Pikachu's Speed Star, and Cloyster's Spike Cannon. The article mentions that Pokemon moves are depicted with impressive visuals, asking readers to imagine how awesome the special move graphics of different Pokemon types will look. The text also points out details like Cloyster's Withdraw move, showing a defensive visual effect, and Pikachu's Speed Star, looking cute but still powerful. The page also includes a list titled, "With this, it's 20 Pokemon." It lists various Pokemon that are featured in the game Pokemon Stadium, presented with their names and associated icons. Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, Spearow, Gengar, Pidgeot, Jinx, Arbok, Starmie, Ivysaur, Machoke, Snorlax, Golduck, Growlithe, Pikachu, Ekans, Graveler, Lapras, Eevee, and Gyarados. The text notes that if you count Koffing and Meowth, who appear in the Pokédex, there are actually 20 Pokemon present in the game at this stage of development, suggesting more might be added later. This page is a preview for The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. It highlights that the game is worth the wait and showcases new screenshots, mentioning that 28 screenshots in total will be revealed. It emphasizes the shock of the release delay, but reassures fans that it will be amazing and is aiming for a fall release. Game details listed include: Publisher, Nintendo. Release date, Fall, Autumn planned. Genre, 3D action-adventure. Price, undecided. Memory, 256 MB players, 1 player. Rumble Pack, compatible, and 15. Controller Pack, undecided. The page highlights powerful action sequences, showing Link battling Stalfos, and mentions the game was significantly powered up from the April showings. The screenshots depict Link fighting a Stalfos and using jump attacks. It is mentioned that the game graphics are so impressive, they evoke sound in the imagination. This article discusses the evolution of sword combat in a new 3D action game, heavily implied to be The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The focus is on the rotation/spin attack, a key move, while other sword actions like vertical, horizontal, and thrust attacks are mentioned. The spin attack is highlighted as being adapted and enhanced for 3D battles. The article compares the spin attack's control method to previous Zelda games on SFC and GB, noting the consistent mechanic of holding a button to charge and releasing to execute the attack. It also emphasizes the return of the classic grass-cutting action, suggesting a familiar gameplay element. Using the rotation slash for grass cutting is described as being more efficient and powerful, with the article humorously hinting at the 64 times more powerful effect in this new installment, and is available from the beginning of the game. Quote, This page delves into the mystery of a recurring, enigmatic boy in what is clearly The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The article questions the true identity of this mysterious figure, who appears multiple times throughout Link's adventure. It's noted that, despite appearing frequently, official sources haven't revealed much about him. The article observes he is male, seemingly close in age to adult Link, and hints at him being a messenger from the future. Screenshots highlight various encounters with this boy in different locations, and even suggest time travel is involved. One particular image focuses on a scene where Link plays the ocarina and the boy appears, leading to speculation about his connection to the ocarina and potentially linking him to a SFC version bird, referencing the Super Famicom Zelda game and perhaps hinting at a past connection or origin. The next page introduces a new item icon called the Grass Flute for summoning your horse in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The text describes how, if you wander too far from your horse, this item can be used to call it back. It suggests imagining the sound as a PU, and mentions the horse appearing when used. It also describes the item's icon, and hints at minigame-like features in towns and fields, not just open plains, which are made possible by the Nintendo minigame specifications. The page also highlights the temperature sensation, heat and cold, and aspect of the game. It mentions the temperature difference that Mr. Miyamoto has been talking about, suggesting players can feel the temperature, humidity, and light through the game. It showcases 4 screenshots illustrating this concept: a snowy environment, ice cavern; a fiery dungeon, lava dungeon; a sunny grassy area near a castle; and a night scene with a large enemy in a fiery area. The lava dungeon is described as having unstable footing and being a difficult dungeon. The large enemy in the fiery area is identified as a giant enemy from Star Fox 64, appearing in the solar area. The text humorously states that Link will be blown away by its powerful flames. This page is a preview of the N64 game Banjo-Kazooie, focusing on the Mad Monster Mansion level. The magazine highlights this stage as a spooky haunted house adventure. It mentions that the level was once a normal church, but something, possibly the evil witch, transformed it into a haunted mansion. Screenshots show gameplay in this eerie environment. One screenshot depicts large, comically oversized chairs, and another points out a skeleton ghost enemy and a potential item visible above it. Another shows pictures hanging on the walls, suggesting exploration and discovery. Finally, a boom sound effect is featured alongside 2 flying monsters that appear to be quite strong. The page also notes a giant pipe organ in the level, hinting that players might even be able to play a tune like Neko Funjata using it. The game information box confirms the publisher as Nintendo, the genre as 3D action, and the player count as 1 player. The release date is listed as autumn, and the price is still undecided at the time of publication. This page focuses on the Nintendo 64 game Banjo-Kazooie, highlighting it as an action game, despite Banjo and Kazooie not seeming like typical fighters. It mentions that they must battle monsters on their adventure as part of their duty as game protagonists. The page introduces gameplay elements like Banjo's punch attack and Kazooie's attack. Screenshots show Banjo fighting a tombstone monster and Kazooie attacking a green dinosaur-like enemy. Text describes these attacks and the enemies. There's a section about a mysterious character who turns out to be Tooty, Banjo's sister. The text mentions she's a fairy-like person with star-tipped wings and might be related to a witch, questioning if she's an enemy or ally. A screenshot shows Tooty in a help beach bubble. The page concludes with a question about what kind of adventures await players, ending on a positive and playful note encouraging readers to anticipate the game's release. This page introduces Star Soldier: Vanishing Earth, a new shooting game set in AD 2092, where humanity is facing annihilation by the Zeograd Empire. The story explains that even though the Zeograd were defeated in the previous game Soldier Blade, they are now launching a second invasion. The SIA, Special Interception Air Force Team, is deploying the latest fighter aircraft, the F-92V Soldier Blade, to confront this threat. The game is described as a vertical-scrolling 2D shooting game and is produced by Takahashi Meijin. The page also includes game details such as release date, scheduled for July 10th. Price, 6,800 yen estimated. Genre, shooting. Players, 1. Memory backup, 96M+. Vibration pack, compatible. Screenshots showcase gameplay with the player ship in action against enemies, and text panels mentioning programmer Kate Tsubota and music composer T. Shimakura. The next page showcases 3 advanced fighter aircraft designed to take on the Zeograd forces in a shooter game. It details 3 distinct machines. The F-98 Vanadium, described as a balanced and beginner-friendly option. This craft features a standard 55mm Vulcan cannon, EX arms for both forward and all-directional attacks, and a powerful firebomb. Then there's the F-98 Lathris, a faster machine designed for experienced players. It is equipped with a powerful forward-firing laser gun and a concentrated Mega Laser EX arm attack, making it formidable offensively, though it is noted to be weaker in defense against rear attacks. The page suggests players consider their preferred combat style to choose the right aircraft for confronting the Zeograd enemy. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay with score displays, combo counters, and the use of various weapons against enemies. This page introduces a new system for getting high scores in the game F-98 Wisteria, which is actually Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth in English, the 3rd installment in the F-98 series. The game emphasizes speed and the use of a wavegun. It details 3 key gameplay mechanics designed for scoring high points. Hit combo, achieved by consistently hitting enemies within a time limit, displayed on the screen with gauges. Maintaining combos by understanding enemy patterns is key to high scores. Rolling, an emergency evasion maneuver that makes the ship invincible and can deflect enemy attacks. Deflected attacks that hit enemies earn bonus points. It's activated by the R trigger and directional inputs, but has a fixed duration. Backfire. The ship has 3 speed stages, and using speed changes strategically is important. Backfires, which are attacks triggered during speed changes, are crucial offensive tactics. The page suggests mastering these techniques is essential for achieving high scores in Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth. This page is a preview of Stage 1 boss Duo Score Ver 3.3c from the game Soldier Blade. It is described as the final boss from the previous game in the series. The boss uses a beam rifle and missiles, and has a shield to defend against attacks. The screenshots show gameplay footage of a mecha robot battling the Duo Score Ver 3.3c boss in a simulated environment called Realistic Simulation Space in Abraham 2. It mentions that the game is 2Ds, despite appearing 3Ds. The text warns that this first boss is very strong and encourages players to defeat the Zeograd army. This page introduces Stage 2 of a shooting game, set in the Pacific Ocean at a military plant under the control of the Zeograd army. The mission involves piloting the F-98 to eliminate enemy aircraft launched from a transport ship called Abura Hamu 2 and target the plant itself. The text describes the enemy attacks as being far more intense than training exercises. The page highlights the stage boss, named Death Integrate, a massive battleship emerging from the plant. It's described as a heavily armed fortress with numerous cannons and powerful backfire weaponry. While it takes time to charge its energy, the boss is incredibly powerful and uses a massive laser weapon. The screenshots depict gameplay action with the player ship, various enemies, and the imposing Death Integrate boss. Captions point out the boss's large size, the devastating supergiant laser attack which has a short charge time, and defensive laser barriers that resemble options surrounding the boss. The page emphasizes the challenging nature of this stage and boss encounter. It's worth noting this game was likely only released in Japan and doesn't have an official English title. This page is about Stage 3, Mars Relay Base, from the N64 game Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth. The page describes the stage's setting, where the player character F-98 is fighting against the Grad army, who have occupied the Mars Relay Base. The player needs to navigate through the base to reach the hangar. The page highlights the stage boss, named Dark Force, a colossal tank that appears from the hangar, described as more like a moving fortress than a tank. Dark Force attacks by circling around the player and unleashing wide-ranging attacks. The page advises players to use rolling to evade the boss's attacks, and mentions the large number of projectiles and the wide attack range, posing a significant challenge. Screenshots on the page illustrate gameplay within the stage and the boss encounter. The next page features a Star Soldier interview, focusing on Star Soldier Vanishing Earth for the N64. This is an interview with Takahashi Meijin, the producer, and Nakamura Mitsuru, the development lead. They discuss the game's development, revealing it stemmed from a desire to create a shooting game, despite initial hesitation about whether shooting games were still popular. They opted for 2D gameplay within a 3D polygon environment, emphasizing that the game is fundamentally 2D in terms of gameplay. The interview touches on control methods, with Takahashi preferring the D-pad while Nakamura uses the 3D stick. They discuss the game mechanics, including rolling to deflect enemy shots and attack, and the combo system, which is built around destroying enemies consecutively to increase bonus points. The game has 7 stages in total, with hidden routes. They mention adjusting the difficulty, aiming for a balance suitable for both younger players and experienced gamers, categorizing difficulty as beginner, normal, and master. The development is nearing completion, with final tuning and adjustments underway, and they are focused on getting the game balanced and fun to play. The screenshots shown are in-game action shots, highlighting the 3D graphics and intense shooting gameplay. The next page is a Star Soldier interview with Takahashi and Nakamura from Hudson Soft, discussing the development of a new shooting game, likely for the N64. They talk about incorporating 3D elements, the tuning process, and balancing difficulty to appeal to a wide audience, wanting to create a game that embodies the essence of shooting games and stands as a king in the genre. They mention the development started around the Protoron period, and they aimed for a direction similar to Star Soldier. The team consists of staff passionate about shooting games and are working to ensure visual clarity on the N64. They are still fine-tuning elements like enemy appearance timing and aiming for an overall fun and engaging game experience. Screenshots from the game showcase vertical scrolling shooter action, characteristic of the Star Soldier series. This page announces the upcoming release of Legend of the River King 64, known in Japan as Nushi Tsuri 64 for the Nintendo 64. It highlights that this is the N64 installment of the popular Legend of the River King fishing RPG series. The page details that in this version, players can choose from 6 family members as their character and enjoy fishing in locations that change with the seasons, creating diverse and beautiful scenery. Screenshots showcase the fishing gameplay and the seasonal environments. Game information lists the genre as a fishing RPG, the publisher as Packinsoft, and confirms it's a single-player game compatible with both the Rumble Pack and Controller Pack. At the time of this page, the release date was still undecided. This page is about fishing in an N64 game, specifically focused on catching the target fish known as nushi. It explains that the goal of the game is to successfully fish for nushi, and discusses various fishing methods available, such as float fishing, bait fishing, lure fishing, and fly fishing, mentioning that the choice of method depends on the fish and location. The page then details lure fishing and introduces 3 lure types. The spoon, a simple lure that wobbles and flashes when retrieved. The hopper, a topwater lure designed to splash and attract fish from the surface. And the worm, a soft plastic lure that imitates a worm and is meant to be moved with a wriggling action. Additionally, the page announces a Shine Nushi Fishing Championship contest with 2 categories for entries. The Packinsoft Grand Prize is for the best illustration of nushi, with the winning design printed on a t-shirt, and the 64Dream Antaga Grand Prize is for submitted stories and photos related to nushi fishing experiences. Winners of the contests will receive special medals and 64Dream merchandise. The deadline for entries is the end of June. The page also features a screenshot of the game in action and illustrations of the different lure types. The next page is a special feature in 64Dream magazine focused on nushi fishing or master fishing games for the N64, titled as an Eternal Preservation Edition and Illustrated Encyclopedia. It presents a guide to understanding where fish live to improve your fishing game skills, emphasizing point selection. The page showcases different fishing environments like pond stream, pond, river, coast, offshore, and breakwater, and provides screenshots related to these locations and types of fish you can expect to find there. Fish names mentioned are tanago, raigyo, black bass, kurodai, kawahagi, shiroamadai, and isigare. The page serves as a visual guide to fish habitats within N64 fishing games. The next page showcases various fishing locations, starting from mountain streams to the open sea, suggesting a fishing game with diverse environments. The page highlights different fish species you can catch in each location, such as char and rainbow trout in mountain streams, dace and ayu in the midstream, koi in the lower stream, cod and trout in the North Sea and its islands, and parrotfish in the South Sea Islands. The text indicates this is a mock-up for a fish introduction and teases potential future game mock-ups, suggesting this page is a preview of fishing mechanics or locations within a game, or a concept idea for a fishing game on the N64. This page is an announcement for Winback, a 3D gun action game, and Koei's first software release for the N64. Scheduled for release in winter 1998, it's a single-player game where you become a Special Forces operative infiltrating a satellite base to fight terrorists. The game is described as a tense experience, requiring strategic thinking against enemies that react to sound and coordinate attacks. You'll have to navigate many rooms, evading terrorists coming from unexpected directions. The game is said to have a strong storyline and supports both vibration and controller packs. This page is a preview for the N64 game SCAT, which stands for Special Covert Anti-Terrorist. The game centers around a terrorist group aiming for indiscriminate attacks, and the elite anti-terrorist unit SCAT, tasked with preventing the terrorists from seizing control of satellite weaponry within a time limit. The player takes on the role of a SCAT operative and must complete missions within the time limit, with the story and ending branching based on player actions. The featured character is Jean-Luc Cougar, a member of SCAT, specialized in infiltration. His profile highlights his exceptional situational awareness and cool, calm demeanor. He is 177 centimeters tall, weighs 77 kilograms, and is a 27-year-old Caucasian male. The screenshots showcase gameplay where stealth is emphasized. One tip suggests using a silencer to avoid attracting enemy reinforcements. And another mentions the importance of being aware of surroundings, as enemies could be anywhere, even specialized units. Enemies are alerted by sounds and will coordinate attacks. Another screenshot indicates the dangers of indoor combat, urging players to proceed cautiously. One screenshot depicts an explosion caused by hitting a fuel tank, suggesting environmental hazards and damage. The page concludes with a large red text proclaiming, "Celebration! N64 participation!" and states a winter 1998 release for the game. It highlights the tension of completing missions within the time limit as a key gameplay element. This page highlights the AMS system for realistic character movement in a shooting game. It details how the game uses motion data to create fluid animations for actions like shooting, reloading, and alertness/awareness. The active motion system aims to make character movements smooth and lifelike. The page introduces Lisa Roberts, a SCAT Tactical Operations Officer and the game's heroine. She is described as bright and energetic with excellent judgment, standing at 165 centimeters, weighing 49 kilograms, and being 24 years old. The article showcases screenshots depicting gameplay scenarios with enemies and emphasizes the need for stealth and quick action. It mentions that players will face multiple enemies and must make rapid decisions. Furthermore, it boasts the inclusion of over 10 types of firearms in the game, stating that gun shooting games cannot be talked about without firearms. Weapons featured range from handguns and shotguns to machine guns, grenades, wire explosives, and rocket launchers. It is mentioned that weapons used by enemies, such as fire-based projectiles, will also appear. The article points out the detailed weapon designs and that real-world weapons like the H&K MP5A5 and Franchi SPAS-12 are used in the game, mirroring weapons used by special forces around the world. The screenshots are from a development version, and the final weapon details are not fully decided, but the game is aiming for a lineup that even gun mania enthusiasts will appreciate. This page is a character introduction page showcasing figures from a game, likely related to a conflict involving terrorism. It presents profiles of 8 characters with Japanese text descriptions and English names below each character. The characters are Honeycomb Bandera, described as a wild submachine gun-wielding member of a terrorist group; Lunatic Dyke, a leading member of the terrorist group with tattoos; Dark Assassin, a night vision-equipped terrorist expert in dark combat whose identity is obscured; Kenneth Coleman, the leader of the Crying Sheep terrorist group known as Colonel; Bigfoot Gunt, a massive gorilla-like terrorist leader using anti-tank missiles and gold dentures; Cecil Carlyle, Kenneth's right-hand man, a killer and the protagonist rival armed with a Desert Eagle; George Lennon, the Secretary of Defense who ordered the halt of the Scat weapon gulf. These characters suggest a game with factions in conflict, potentially terrorists, versus a defense force. It is possibly related to the N64 game Bomberman Hero, due to the Koei copyright and the time frame, where these characters might be antagonists or supporting figures within the game's universe. This page showcases Battle Phoenix 64, a B-Damon action game for the Nintendo 64. It announces the game's release date as July 24th and a price of 6,800 yen. The game is described as a hot-blooded B-Damon battle experience, building upon the popular B-Damon toy series. Screenshots show in-game battles and character selection, including a panda character, hinting at diverse characters to play as. The page mentions that the game title Battle Phoenix is also the name of a robot appearing within the game itself. It emphasizes the multiplayer aspect, supporting 1 to 4 players, and highlights the action genre. This page is all about the Nintendo 64 game Super B-Daemon Battle Phoenix 64, a title that was only released in Japan. It highlights the various characters you can encounter in the game, dividing them into those who originated from the Super B-Daemon manga and those who are brand new, created specifically for this N64 game. Among the original manga characters featured are Tamago Togasa with his fighting phoenix Breedaman, Gamma and his wild wyvern, and Sarah and Asamasa Ijuin, who use King Sphinx and Konig Kerberos Breedamans respectively. The page also introduces game-exclusive characters like Panda Commander, Hagane, Burst Gigantes, Cool Gunner, and Yankoro Fighter, each with their own unique Breedaman. The article explains that this game lets you battle against computer opponents or friends using these diverse characters and their B-Diamond machines. This page introduces the Beater mode in the N64 game Beetleborgs, detailing 3 main game modes: Beater Battle Royal, Tag Match Tournament, and Free Battle. It highlights that there are a total of 10 Beat'em characters in the game, and this feature will focus on 8 types of competitions, excluding Dragon Ball Battle and Toro Shooting, which were covered in the May issue. The page then dives into 3 specific competition types, categorized as Standard Type and Trajectory Type. First is the Airboard Battle, Rail Type, where players knock a floating ball into the opponent's court. Panels on the court contain spikes that appear and disappear. Panels also break when hit by the ball. The aim is to either break all the opponent's panels or send the ball to their side of the court to win. Next we have Mole Panic Battle, Doki Doki Type. In this mode, players use Beat'em to hit moles that pop out of holes. The score awarded depends on the type of mole hit, and the player with the highest score at the end of the time limit wins. Finally, there's Billiard Battle, Trajectory Type. This is a billiard-style game where players take turns hitting balls with their Beat'em, each player getting 5 shots. The goal is to pocket balls, and the player with the higher score wins. Interestingly, if you hit the ball out of turn, you become the ball in the field, and if you get pocketed, you miss a turn. This page is focused on BOMAN B-Daemon Bakugaiden V. It introduces 2 game modes: Pandar Darts Battle, which is a side-scrolling game where you shoot panda targets for points, mentioning that hitting town buildings is a foul. The other mode is Power Crush, a target shooting game where you need to destroy 16 targets as fast as possible, highlighting that targets have weak points for faster destruction. There is a character asking about other types of competitions, and text indicating information about other competitions will be in next month's issue. The page then shifts to B-Daemon toys, showcasing different B-Daemon armor types like White Gale, Blue Sniper, Red Buster, Yellow Shooter, and Steel Dragon, and describes features of each, like White Gale being able to fire 3 B-Daemons in a row, Blue Sniper being accurate, Red Buster having power and balance, Yellow Shooter having strong drive balls, and Steel Dragon firing 11mm steel balls. These are priced at 580 or 680 yen. Finally, it introduces Character B-Daemon as Explosion Outside Transmission Collection, showing Bomberman-style characters as B-Daemon figures, stating they are based on anime designs and are for collection, priced at 280 or 500 yen. This page is about the announcement of the Japanese release of Turok 2, Seeds of Evil for the Nintendo 64. It highlights that the Japanese release has been decided, and it is the first public showing of the game in Japan. The page mentions that Acclaim Japan is the publisher, and the game is classified as a shooting genre. It is noted that the game is expected to be released towards the end of 1998 and supports 1 to 4 players. The article mentions that development has been underway since early stages, and emphasizes improved graphics and the addition of a 4-player battle mode, on top of the traditional 1-player mode, making it a highly anticipated title. The screenshots show level design layouts and character models, hinting at the game's development process and visual style. The text suggests that while the previous game had a jungle setting, this one feels more modern and emphasizes detailed building exteriors and interiors, implying more strategic indoor battles. The large image on the right side of the page features an aggressive Turok dinosaur, reinforcing the game's action-packed nature. The next page showcases the game Turok and highlights its return. It mentions that based on information obtained, the game will feature 8 stages with diverse world settings, broken down into several areas. Screenshots reveal palace-like modern buildings, stone bridges, and fortress-like structures. The article notes a focus on story and companionship compared to the previous title, and it's unclear if there will be human enemies, but female characters are expected to appear. The text suggests the weapons are similar to Turok, with enhanced enemy AI, making battles more intense. The screenshot descriptions detail, game screens are so beautiful they are indistinguishable from pre-rendered CG. Stone bridges can be destroyed, showcasing the physics and interaction. Tower-like buildings suggesting wealthy residents, though it looks dangerous. Quote, alien spaces are featured, adding to the varied environments. Something is exploding on top of the building, questioning if it's the player or enemies causing it. Quote, creepy design locations with dragons emerging, hinting at intense encounters. Ancient European-style locations, possibly set in 19th century America, suggesting diverse settings beyond typical jungle. 2 Dilophosaurus dinosaurs are approaching, indicating encounters with multiple enemies at once. Newly AI-equipped dinosaurs are described as being more ferocious, faster, and smoother in their attacks. A scene with a cannon on the left and fallen people in the foreground, with soldiers dressed in Napoleonic or American Civil War-style uniforms. The next page is about International Superstar Soccer 98, known in Japan as GameCube World Soccer World Cup France. France, 98. This article simulates the group stages of the World Cup using the game. It highlights Konami as the publisher and mentions a release date of June 4th, priced at 7,800 yen and requiring 128 MB of memory. It's a sports genre game playable by 1 to 4 players and supports the controller pack. The page then presents simulated group results from groups A to H, detailing match scores between teams like Brazil, Scotland, Italy, Chile, France, South Africa, Spain, Nigeria, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, USA, Romania, Colombia, Argentina, and Japan, among others. Each group section has a short commentary on the simulated results. For example, Group A commentary praises Brazil's overwhelming strength and goal-scoring ability. Group B notes Italy's strong performance. Group C predicts France will do well, but mentions South Africa's weakness. Group D highlights Spain's dominance and Bulgaria as a dark horse. Group E focuses on Japan's potential for a win against Korea. Group F comments on Germany as a strong contender. Group G points out Romania's solid performance. Group H discusses Japan's close match against Jamaica, ending in a last-minute goal for Japan in extra time. This page is all about a 1998 France World Cup simulation played on the N64. It highlights a CPU versus CPU simulation battle, showcasing a tournament bracket with predicted match results. The simulation predicts Brazil as the winner of the World Cup, beating Germany in the final 32 after extra time. There are also game screenshots from a soccer game, probably from the International Superstar Soccer series. Another section titled Ganbare Nippon cheers on the Japanese national team with player names listed, focusing on Japan's chances in the actual World Cup tournament and expressing hopes for their success in the upcoming matches. This page is about the N64 game Rakuga Kids, a nurturing and combat game released on July 23 for 12 players. The page highlights that the game features rampaging Rakugaki characters in a pastel-style, enjoyable, and cute fighting game. This month's issue unveils the playable characters in a special scoop. It is described as a fighting game unlike anything before, with a master figure and unique characters discovered by a hero. The page then introduces 4 character pairs: Andy Horking and Astronauts, described as standard balance-type fighters originating from the dreams of a boy who wants to be an astronaut. DDJ and Captain Cat-Kit are speedy, single-blow knockout fighters, with Captain Cat-Kit being skilled in dance and rap. Cleone 7 Bridge and Bear Tank are described as cute yet powerful types, with Bear Tank noted for being high speed. At the bottom of the page are headshots of characters Astronaut, Bear Tank, Captain Cat-Kit, and Roy Cools. This page showcases the game's 4 different play modes: practice, versus, training, and free play, highlighting that the game can be enjoyed in various ways, including solo or with friends. It also introduces several pairs of characters available in the game. First, we have Roy 7 Bridges and Cools Roy, depicted as a cool character with a weapon. Then there's Nora Balloon and Marsa, described as aerial combat specialists, with Marsa using water guns. Next up is Jerry Murphy and Robot CHO, where Robot CHO is a power type who uses special attacks. Ball Murphy and Momenzo are also featured, with Momenzo being a long-range fighter who uses a mantle in battle. Lastly, Georg and Darkness are introduced. Darkness is described as a dog ghost and a magic fighter who uses crayons, a rather unique combination. This page is focused on the N64 game Olympic Hockey Nagano 98, published by Konami and released in Japan on July 16, 1998. It's a sports game for 14 players, priced at 6,800 yen. The page highlights the game's speed and the importance of quick attacks and solid defense in this fast-paced ice hockey title. It details basic controls like using the A button for shooting and combinations like A-B for a 1-2 shot, while C button is for hooking and B button is for stealing the puck. The page mentions features such as replays and a fighting mode that occurs when players get heated. It also provides a basic explanation of ice hockey rules within the game, including terms like blue line, center line, face-off zone, penalty box, offside, icing, cross-checking, hooking, tripping, and fighting, ensuring players understand the fundamentals. The game mechanics emphasize quick decision-making and strategic play. This game was also known internationally as Hyper Olympic in Nagano. This page is all about the game Nagano Winter Olympics 98 for the N64. It emphasizes aiming for the gold medal in the Olympic Games, detailing various game modes available. These modes include arcade, qualifying rounds, final rounds, and playoffs, along with training, records, setup, and options for customization. The game also offers features like editing team lineups and trading players to create your ultimate dream team. The page highlights a simulation of the actual Olympics with match results shown, such as Russia defeating Belarus 54 and Finland 95 in semifinals, but losing to Czech Republic 0-2 in the gold medal match. Player focus is also emphasized, mentioning goaltender Hasek from the Czech Republic and Pavel Bure from Russia, both of whom are key players to watch in the game. The game seems to authentically recreate the Olympic experience, with detailed player stats and strategic gameplay. This page introduces Desaimon 3D, a game that lets you create your own shooting games on the N64. It's described as a game creation tool, allowing players to build games using tools like Model, Paint, Music, and Build. You can use pre-made materials included in the ROM to easily create simple games. The page highlights the Build tool as the core for assembling your game from components you create or use from samples. It gives an example of a game concept where the main character is NATO Boy and the enemies are modern warplanes and mecha-like mushrooms. You can select characters from pre-made samples within the game's model tools. The Build tool's initial screen has options for player, enemy, map, layout, game title, ending, and sound, letting you assemble all elements to test and play your creation. The release date is noted as June 30th, and the genre is listed as etc., with a price of 7,800 yen. This supports one-player and vibration packs but not controller packs. The Build tool editor offers several editors for game creation. The player editor customizes the player character's appearance, weapons, and abilities. The enemy editor defines enemy behavior, including movement, attacks, and death effects. The map editor uses a paint tool to create terrain and special effects. The layout editor assembles stages by combining maps and enemy placements, setting stage parameters, music, and camera angles. These editors allow for complete stage creation. The process of combining player, enemy, map, and layout elements is fundamental to building a game and creating diverse stages. This page announces the upcoming release of the game Super Robot Spirits for the Nintendo 64. Scheduled for July 17, 1998. The page highlights the game's 7 modes, focusing on 6 in detail. Story mode lets you follow a story while battling with robots. Time attack mode is about defeating enemies as quickly as possible, and VS mode is the standard 2-player battle mode. Training mode is for practicing moves. 64 mode is described as a simplified story mode, and Guts mode focuses on continuously fighting to see how many enemies can be defeated. The Options mode allows for customization of game settings like enemy strength and time limits. The game is a 3D fighting action title priced at 7,800 yen, requiring 128 MB of memory, and supports 12 players, vibration pack support, but not controller pack. The bottom of the page has a call to action encouraging players to, "Let's battle!" This page is a robot operation manual, likely for the game Super Robot Wars F Final, although it is not explicitly named, focusing on controller usage and special moves. It details the control scheme using the N64 controller, explaining field movement, attack buttons, and special techniques like throws and guards activated with button combinations, or the D-pad. The page also explains the on-screen display, highlighting the stamina gauge, spirit gauge used for special attacks, remaining time, and the number of wins. It emphasizes the presence of aerial combos in the game, stating they are an essential part of modern fighting games. Additionally, there's a section listing TV programs that likely broadcast commercials for the game, and a report from a Super Robot Thanksgiving Festival event. This event was a release celebration for Super Robot Wars F Final, held in Tokyo on April 22nd, and featured voice actors and other people involved with the game. This page is showcasing Choro Q64, known as penny racers internationally. The page highlights the course edit mode, emphasizing how players can create their own custom tracks within the game. It explains that in Choro Q64, you can assemble your favorite courses and save them to the controller pack, allowing you to race your souped UP cars on unique tracks. The text suggests racing against friends on these custom courses is also a fun aspect. The screenshots display the course editing interface and in-game racing action. Game details in a blue box reveal the publisher is Takara, the release month is July, the genre is racing, the price is 6,800 yen, the ROM size is 64 MB, it supports 14 players, and it's compatible with the controller pack, but not the Rumble pack. This page introduces a fun-looking N64 racing game called Choro Q64 Race. Though it mentions it's more than just a typical race. The page highlights 4 cool moves. Drift, achieved by braking and using the 3D stick. Sharp turn, executed with the R button and stick. Wheelie, a classic Choro Q move. And Choro Q Dash, a super boost achieved by revving the engine and releasing the R button. It then showcases 3 courses featured in the game this month. First is Kohano Mori, an on-road course by a lake, described as scenic even in the rain. Next up is Yoruno Iseki, an off-road course with traps and an Indiana Jones vibe, featuring ancient ruins. Lastly, there's Dukutsu no Yama, a snow course inside a cave where rocks fall from above, emphasizing caution. The page concludes by saying that these 3 courses are just a simple introduction, hinting at more to come as the game's release approaches. This page is showcasing the winning monster designs for the upcoming One-Mon game. A massive 819 entries were submitted by readers, and this page highlights the first 5 chosen to appear in the game. Each monster is presented with the creator's name, their prefecture, the monster's name, a drawing of the monster, and a short comment about the design. The game is mentioned as a raising simulation, being developed by Bottom Up and is scheduled for release in November. It's also announced that 5 more monster designs will be revealed in the next issue of the magazine. This page is a preview for the Nintendo 64 game 64 Trump Collection, Alice no Waku Waku Trump World. It's described as the 3rd installment in the Trump Collection series and is themed around Alice in Wonderland. The page highlights the story mode, where players follow the narrative of Alice in Wonderland while playing card games. The game promises a theatrical presentation that feels like reading a pop-up book. 2 game modes are shown in screenshots, Story Mode and 7 Narabe, a familiar card game. The page also mentions that the game will support the vibration pack for force feedback, especially during intense moments like drawing cards in 7 Narabe, or when winning or losing in gamble-style trump games. The game parameters indicate it's a table genre game from developer Bottom Up, scheduled for release in July, price is undecided, requires 64 MB of memory, supports 14 players and vibration pack, but not controller pack. This page is an advertisement for Tizen, an online service for playing classic board games like Go, Shogi, and Mahjong. It's promoting a 3-month free trial and highlighting a professional Go Player Challenge Open Commemorative Grand Tournament. The service allows players to enjoy these games online and participate in competitions. They're also running a prize campaign where you can win a Toshiba Libretto 70CT laptop and Tizen original mousepads. The ad points users to their website for more information and to access the online gaming platform. There's also mention of a special forum for Tizen users on Buster's BBS. This page is a promotional sticker sheet for the Nintendo 64, featuring popular characters and games. It highlights that the N64's 2nd anniversary is approaching, showcasing stickers of iconic characters like Mario, Princess Peach, Link, Pikachu, and Banjo-Kazooie. Game stickers include F1 World Grand Prix, listed as Super Speed Race 64, Extreme G, the Japan Elite Pachinko 365 Days, International Superstar Soccer 98, listed as JICU World Soccer, World Cup France 98, the Japan Elite Desaimon 3D, and Dr. Mario. The page provides instructions on where to place the stickers, suggesting they are for game cartridges and controller packs. Copyright information for various game developers is also included at the bottom. This page is a blank page. This page is a letters section called 64Dream Paradise 64. Readers have sent in their thoughts and questions to the magazine forum. One reader suggests adding more corners to 64Dream magazine, mentioning the predecessor, Doripa Paradise, which had many corners. Another reader talks about the anime Ball Miracle Great Strategy and identifies Kanopi as a villain, reminiscing about a related snack. A question is asked about the identity of Gatsu Mask, and the editor reveals it to be Mr. Passionate Hot-Blooded Senior. The Power Pro Information Corner shares tips for powerful pro baseball, detailing moves like flow hit, wide-angle hit, catcher hollow circle, reversal, true baseball superlegend, sayonara man, and mood. A reader from Hokkaido asks about the number of games game writers play in a year, and the editor estimates around 60 games annually, including both work and personal play, across all consoles. Another reader comments on the Kansai and Kanto staff dynamic at 64Dream, noting their food preferences and friendly rivalry. A reader is curious about Namco's next N64 title. The editor responds that there isn't much information available, and speculates on potential releases towards the end of the year, expressing hope for Namco to support the N64. There's an image related to 1080 snowboarding, with a note that boards will become 64Dream merchandise. In the 64Dream non-sales section, readers comment on screenshots. One features The Legend of Zelda and Kirby, and another includes various characters and mentions Gomez. This webpage, titled GameSoft Fan Club Popularity Poll, What's Next?, highlights the popularity of fan clubs for various N64 games based on reader postcards. Jose FC is currently the most popular, aiming for 1,000 postcards for a special event, and having held the top spot for a year. Other notable clubs include Fire Emblem FC, which is hoping to regain popularity after being in second place, Bomberman FC, who are aiming for second place, and Luigi FC, who are also gaining popularity. Zelda FC's section focuses on the anticipation for a new Zelda game and notes delays affecting postcard submissions. Each section features tables showing postcard counts and includes reader comments and illustrations, showcasing the fans' enthusiasm and engagement. This page discusses the Super Robot Spirits game development and explores the theme of uncommon tokusatsu super robots. There's a section called Thinking Archaeology Laboratory, which talks about giant robots in TV shows, mentioning series like UFO Daisenso, Fight, Red Tiger, Ranborg Giant, and Iron King, discussing why some of these robots might be considered less popular. The editor, Moki, briefly mentions Super Robot and Heart to Heart No Maelstrom. The page also announces the release of Super Robot Spirits Great War F Complete Edition on April 23rd, with a reader excited about purchasing it after seeing a preview. An Image Research Laboratory section encourages readers to send in robot and character illustrations. Finally, a next issue notice teases the theme for the upcoming magazine and highlights reader submissions. This page is from the Analog Chat 64 section of the magazine and discusses the topic, Is being a game writer a good job? The main article explores the pros and cons of being a game writer from the perspective of someone in the editorial department. It touches on the irregular hours, societal perception of gaming as a job, but also the perks like using hobbies at work, getting to experience games early, and the satisfaction of connecting with readers through game reviews. There's a This Month's Portrait section featuring an illustration and text, and a Congratulations to Mashi and Hirose on their marriage announcement with cartoon drawings. A Tell Me Kong-san, Ask Me Anything Q&A segment addresses a reader's question about whether 64Dream is selling well, to which the response is positive and encourages continued support. The page also features Count King, an article about a game collector named Endu, who owns an impressive number of consoles and games, including 31 game consoles, around 800 game software titles, and 4 PCs, even owning 10 Game Boys alone, describing himself as sick with his collection habit. Finally, this month's Watermelon section presents a joke or gag. The bottom right corner has a postcard submission section, inviting readers to send in submissions to the magazine at a provided address. The 64Dream unofficial support questionnaire features reader recollections of their experiences with various N64 games. Readers reminisced about Super Mario 64's impact and GoldenEye 07's multiplayer fun. Other games mentioned include Micro no Keshi Ken, JIKU Powerful Pro Yaku 4 and 5, Pilotwings 64, Star Fox 64, Blastozer, and F-Zero X. Experiences range from childhood baseball memories and spy-like simulations to intense Star Fox 64 sessions and a desire for Gyakrouge titles. The 64 Detective Mini section features a 13-year-old seeking advice on buying Pokémon merchandise discreetly, with a humorous response suggesting sunglasses as a solution. The next page is about the pocket camera, which is being promoted as so popular even the mayor is overwhelmed. The page features reader submissions in various categories. The first section is Funny Pocket Camera Dojo, showing 2 funny photos submitted by readers from Tokyo and Hyogo Prefecture. Next is Priority Pet Shop, featuring pet photos from readers in Aichi and Mie Prefecture. Then there is 4-Panel Manga School, with manga-style submissions from readers in Osaka and Kyoto Prefecture. The Pocket Camera Back Alley Workshop section introduces some hidden features or secrets of the pocket camera. It mentions a game called Run 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 and describes how to access the staff credits by completing the game and choosing staff role in the main menu. It also mentions that getting a goal time of under 22 seconds in play mode allows you to raise the Nintendo flag. Artists Cafe showcases artistic photos from readers in Aichi and Osaka Prefecture, describing one as splattered and another as looking like a green juice uncle. Finally, Pocket Camera Nursery presents baby photos from readers in Osaka and Saitama Prefecture. One photo is described as looking like a future entertainer, and another as suitable for a good luck charm. The application methods section explains how to submit photos, take photos with the pocket camera, print them out with a dedicated printer, and send them on postcards to the 64Dream Pocket Camera City address in Tokyo. The private Null Game Academy explores useless game studies, focusing on knowledge that has no practical application. The Academy's first lesson, Null Japanese Language, analyzes pointless dialogue common in RPGs, advising players to skip repetitive text. The second lesson, Classics, introduces players to null games found in older game stores. An example is Gonso Super Monkey Daibuken, a nonsensical family computer RPG with a high null point score due to its abrupt game over. The page also discusses Null with Love and Null without love, differentiating between null games created with passion and those that are soulless imitations. The article suggests an obscure metric for quality involving a reference to adult film star Ijima Ai's Family Home, based on the commitment from the creators. The 3-limit drill and useless drill edition quiz section contains 5 questions. Question 1 asks about voice actors for Wiggler, Power Pros 5, and Goemon, Ganbare Goemon. Question 2 discusses a potential idol feature in 64Dream magazine, focusing on Nakamura Yuka and considering other groups. Question 3 is a fill-in-the-blank question about the Star Fox series, mentioning its pioneering use of certain elements. Question 4 is a multiple-choice question related to a gloomy Mario illustration. Question 5 is a matching question pairing game characters/terms with names. The page also provides an address for readers to send postcards to different sections of the magazine. This page showcases 4 Nintendo 64 games. At the top left is Bomberman Hero, showing Bomberman and the game logo, with the text mentioning Bomberman Hero Save the Million Princess, and a page number 68. Next to it on the right is Super Speed Race 64, featuring images of various sports cars and the game logo, with page 72 noted. Below these is a section titled Inside Information Strategy Preservation Edition 4 Consecutive Shots, which highlights strategy guides for 4 games. The first game mentioned in the text is Bomberman Hero, described as the second strategy guide for Bomberman Hero about a month after its release. The next game mentioned is Super Speed Race 64, stating that in this game, you can race in Lamborghini supercars. It's described as a super high-speed bike battle race, Extreme G simulation game, Pachinko, 365 days. It mentions extreme genres and dream strategies. The final game highlighted on the page at the bottom right is Extreme G, showing a futuristic motorbike and its logo, with page 76. On the bottom left is Pachinko 365 Nichi, featuring screenshots of pachinko machines and the game logo, marked as page 80. This page is about Bomberman Hero, focusing on the game's story progression. It describes how after defeating the four heavenly kings Nechi and Pet Megani in Mazone Star, Bomberman finally rescues Million Queen. The text mentions that players might think the game ends at Stage 5, World Star, but Stage 6, Gasic Star, is also revealed. The screenshots show Bomberman rescuing the Million Queen, the villainous Nitros plotting Bagular's revival by collecting 4 discs, the actual revival of Bagular, and finally, Bomberman arriving at World Star to be greeted by Bagular on a monitor. The page also includes game information, stating that the genre is action. The price is 6,800 yen. It requires 96 megabytes of memory plus backup, and is compatible with the Rumble Pack, but not the controller pack. This page is a strategy guide for Stage 5, Warudosu Star, of what appears to be the game Bomberman 64. It details the boss encounters in 4 boss rooms. Boss Room 1 features the boss Endall, who attacks with light balls, and advises players to exploit its weakness, the golden ornament on its chest, by continuously throwing bombs. Boss Room 2 introduces Baruda, previously encountered in Stage 2, now appearing on stage for a rematch. Baruda's attacks include a charge and laser cannon, but the guide assures that the laser is easily avoidable. Boss Room 3 presents a double boss battle against Boruban and Bomber Marine. Boruban, described as a water tank type, is a powerful enemy using a bazooka cannon. The strategy is to intercept homing missiles early and target the blue part of its forehead, which is its weak point. Finally, Boss Room 4 features Nitros, marking Bomberman's 5th encounter with this foe. Nitros is described as launching serious attacks like shockwaves, fire pillars, and hyperbombs. The guide mentions that Nitros has 3 barriers that need to be destroyed while it is jumping around, emphasizing the strength of Nitros bombs and advising players to run around the platform and be wary of bombs and fire pillars. The next page provides a strategy guide for boss battles in a game likely from the Bomberman series on the N64, possibly Bomberman 64, taking place in the World Star stage. Boss Room 5 features a boss named Mega Nini, described as Nechia's pet. This boss attacks with lasers, homing missiles, and body slams, while rotating, appearing, and disappearing from 3 locations in a lava-filled area. Boss Room 6 introduces twin Nechia bosses who attack together, with mini-Megan enemies falling from the sky. Nechia's attacks include sickles, throwing knives, and a whip attack requiring caution. The final boss, Bagura, has 3 forms. Skiff. The first human Anotype form uses tackles and impact attacks. The second monitor, Anotype form, splits into 3 bodies and attacks with lasers. The final battle tank form requires destroying its right and left hands, using current to break its barrier before attacking. The page also shows screenshots of gameplay during these boss battles, offering visual cues for attack patterns and suggesting strategies. Defeating Bagura rewards the player with a big bomb, and Bomberman is shown escaping to Bomber Star on a ship. This page is a guide for the Japanese exclusive game Bomberman 64, The Second Attack. It details how to achieve 5 gold medals and collect all other dimension bombs to access the secret Gasic Star stage. The guide shows screenshots of various levels across different areas, from Stage 1 to Stage 4, providing hints for finding the hidden other dimension bombs within each level. For example, for Level 11, Heavy Room, it mentions the bomb is above the pillar near the entrance. For Level 12, Darkwood, it's described as being where you climb up the White Dragon Vine. The guide continues in this style for numerous stages, giving players clues to locate these collectibles throughout the game's early levels. This page focuses on Super Speed Race 64, a racing game for the N64. The game boasts 4 modes, a single or 2-player mode featuring simple races, championship, and time trial, and then multiplayer modes for 2 to 4 players. The difficulty can be adjusted across 4 levels, making it accessible to beginners and experienced players alike. The page highlights 2 key aspects of gameplay: pit stops for refueling, which are essential on longer courses and can be the difference between winning and losing, and tire changes, which are necessary because tire grip degrades over multiple laps, impacting cornering speed. Pit stops for tires are recommended around the 4th lap. Screenshots show in-game racing, the pit stop sequence, and multiplayer screen setups, illustrating the different modes and gameplay elements discussed. The game is described as having responsive controls and being enjoyable for racing game fans. The release date is listed as May 29th, with a price of 6,800 yen. It is a racing game and supports 14 players, vibration pack, and controller pack. This page dives into the thrilling world of Lamborghini supercars for the N64, showcasing the game's exciting modes. You can jump into a single race for practice against computer opponents, customizing race conditions like pit stops and weather. For a more structured challenge, the championship mode offers a 6-circuit tournament to become the ultimate champion, with both preset and customizable options. Test your speed and time challenge, racing from checkpoint to checkpoint, accumulating time bonuses, and aiming to conquer set laps at top speed. Time Trial is your dedicated practice arena, where you can hone your skills and save your best times to compare with your race performances. The game boasts 6 incredible supercars, starting with the iconic Countach and Diablo, and unlocking 4 more as you progress. The page also highlights the unique characteristics of these dream cars, noting cornering ability and top speed variations. Finally, a Lamborghini picture gallery section gives a glimpse of the real-life Lamborghini, featuring both exterior and interior shots, adding to the supercar experience. This racing game guide offers tips for 3 courses. Course 1, Full Throttle Run, is a high-speed circuit demanding careful navigation of the final corner. Maintain speed, consider tire wear, and aim for an outside-in racing line on the last turn. Course 2, Reading the Racing Line, features gentle curves in an H shape across forest and city environments. Focus on anticipating the racing line by looking ahead and aiming for straight approaches to each corner. Course 3, Balance of Accelerator and Steering, is a public road course with narrowing sections, especially tunnels. Precise accelerator and steering control are crucial to avoid tire slippage on the tight curves. The next page is focused on providing drift technique tips for the racing game Ridge Racer 64. Course 4 is described as having long winding curves where maintaining concentration over the distance is key. It's advised to avoid going off course, as the grass can cause spins, especially after tire changes, and to be mindful of the split paths and tunnels, noting tunnel sections might be tricky. Course 5 is set in a port town with sharp corners, where cornering is paramount to winning. Drifting is highlighted as the winning strategy on these corners, with tires becoming easier to drift on after a few laps, but caution is advised, as mistakes can lead to significant time loss. Course 6 is a challenging seaside mountain pass course, with beautiful scenery but narrow roads and elevation changes. It emphasizes the need for precise controls, careful acceleration, and applying previously learned techniques to conquer this final difficult course. The goal is to drive consistently to the finish and secure victory. The next page is a preview of the game Extreme G. It's titled, Release Imminent, Player Machine Introduction and Stage Strategies. The page highlights 4 different player machines, Apollyon, Grimace, Jolt, and Khan, describing their strengths. Apollyon is noted for its balanced speed and acceleration, with powerful energy weapon shots as its appeal. Grimace is fast and excels at cornering, but its laser shot is weak. Jolt is described as standard in shield, speed, and handling, but its ripple shot is weak. Khan is balanced in speed and weaponry, making it beginner-friendly. The page includes screenshots of the game in action and mentions the game's release date as May 29th. The game is a racing game for 1 to 4 players, and the price is 6,800 yen. Vibration pack and controller pack are supported. It also mentions that the machines have a futuristic design, and that while some bikes are available from the start, others are hidden and unlockable by meeting certain conditions. The text also praises the beautiful graphics and flashy effects, mentioning that players can use special weapons while racing to try and win first place. This page focuses on the game Extreme G. It showcases 4 different bikes: M-AIM, which is described as excellent in acceleration and standard armed; OGA, which is combat-focused and weapons are its forte; RAZ, which is lightweight and top speed, is its best feature but handling is unstable; and RANA, that needs time to reach top speed but has high power and is for advanced players. The page also details the 18 different items in the game, categorized into 4 types: shield, missile, trap, and special. Shield items include power shield and hyper shield. Missile items are standard missile, guided missile, and mortar rocket. Trap items consist of landmine, laser landmine, Morningstar bomb, and warp. Special items are ion side cannon, static pulse, tractor beam, flash flare, and backfire. There's an announcement for a 64Dream XG shooting race tournament for the Extreme G game, held in the City Industrial Zone course, in the shooting mode. The deadline is the end of June, and prizes are offered for the top 10 winners, with first place receiving a portable CD player and an Extreme G Special Edition sunglasses and soundtrack CD. The application process involves sending a postcard by the deadline, with details like the number of knockouts achieved, the machine used, address, name, age, and phone number. This page showcases 2 courses, Desert Aztec Ruins and City Industrial Zone, from a racing game. For Desert Aztec Ruins, the text describes it as the first desert course with the easiest difficulty. It mentions a fork in the road at point A, where taking the right path shortens the distance. It highlights 2 dash zones and notes that point B is hard to see on the map, while point C features a jump. Players are advised to use the R trigger for cornering and be cautious at the jump in point C. For City Industrial Zone, it's described as a city course, starting with a sudden vertical drop at point A. The course generally has gentle curves, but also some sharp turns. Point B has blind corners, and point C has branches with equal distance. Tips for Industrial Zone include using the straight line after the drop at point A for boosting and choosing an attack-friendly path at point C, while being mindful of enemy routes. This page showcases 2 courses from the N64 game Extreme G. The first course detailed is Mines the Tunnel, a dark and winding tunnel track set in a coal mine. This course is described as having many curves and elevation changes. Points A and B are highlighted as areas where intense battles with enemies will occur, so it's recommended to keep weapons ready. Point C is noted for its impressive twist in the track layout. The second course featured is Space Asteroid Belt, a space-themed track set in an asteroid field. This course takes you through areas resembling space bases. Point A is a fork in the road where both paths are of equal distance, so choose either. Point B involves a rapid descent followed by an ascent, and boosting after this section is advised. Point C and another location further along the track both feature loop sections and are visually appealing, with spaceships flying in the vicinity. This page is an advertisement for the N64 game Pachinko 365 Days. This game, developed by Sita, puts you in the world of Pachinko and offers 3 main game modes. First is Actual Battle Simulation, where you manage 3 Pachinko parlors over a year, aiming to increase your winnings. This mode emphasizes strategic decision-making based on shop information and customer trends. The second mode is Pachinko Machine Research, where you can freely experiment with recorded Pachinko machines, adjusting settings and needle positions to analyze winning patterns, ideal for deep dives into Pachinko mechanics. Finally, Handheld Battle Mode lets you compete against the CPU or friends in a center-shoot-stone style battle, where the goal is to have more balls at the end of the time limit. This mode lets you adjust difficulty settings and ball/needle levels. The advertisement highlights strategic play, detailed machine analysis, and competitive battles as core gameplay elements. The game was released on May 29th and supports 12 players. It requires 96 MB of memory and is compatible with controller packs, but not vibration packs. This page introduces 5 different Pachinko machines. CR Peach Pie V is themed around Mahjong and boasts a high probability of winnings. CR Ryu uses a shogi theme and features a probability change over 2 rounds. CR Saikorin, with a dice motif, is designed to be easy to win. Zero Tiger is described as having an all-13-ball payout system and a V-zone. Lastly, Center Chewstone features an all-15-ball payout and incorporates 8 entrance slots for balls. This page delves into the world of Pachinko simulation, presenting a guide on how to become a Pachinko winner through strategic gameplay and data analysis. It introduces the Victory Handbook mode, which allows players to track their performance and winnings over time, daily, weekly, and monthly. The feature emphasizes the importance of information gathering for Pachinko success, moving beyond just luck. It showcases 3 Pachinko parlors, PCITY21, Parlor Daisuki, and Chinjara Kaikan, each with unique characteristics. PCITY21 is described as a stylish urban parlor with a focus on digital pachinko machines and a 2 yen and 50 cent exchange rate. Parlor Daisuki, in a bustling shopping district, offers 2 machine types, with new machines introduced every couple of months, and a slightly lower 2 yen and 20 cent exchange rate, emphasizing big wins. Chinjara Kaikan, styled like a Showa-era shopping street parlor, features older center cushion hand-operated machines with a 3.0 yen exchange rate, recommending this parlor when aiming for steady winnings. The page suggests that by using the Victory Handbook to analyze data and understand parlor characteristics, players can improve their pachinko skills and increase their chances of winning. This N64 Classroom Lesson 14 discusses battery backup memory in N64 cartridges and controller packs. A reader inquired about the lifespan of battery backups. The expert explains that both utilize SRAM, powered by a lithium battery, to retain save data. Unlike DRAM used in the console, SRAM preserves data even when power is off. The lifespan of these batteries is roughly 10 years, although some cartridges like SFC cartridges may have a shorter lifespan of around 5 years, and controller packs are estimated to last for at least 78 years. The page also references the Days Immortal theme with an unrelated screenshot from Ultima Online. Readers are encouraged to submit N64 questions to the editorial department. Game Street Journal reports from Seattle on an NBA game and N64 promotion. The article likens the NBA game's atmosphere to Tokyo and mentions Microsoft's new building increasing local population. The event showcased N64 games like Ken Griffey Jr. and an NBA basketball title. A demo of the NBA game impressed the reporter. The article lists numerous upcoming N64 games slated for release, including Quake, 1080-degree snowboarding, and Banjo-Kazooie. There's also a reference to a Lost in Space game. Nintendo of America's promotional efforts are highlighted, focusing on Pokémon sales. Despite initial hesitation, the article suggests Pokémon is gaining popularity in America, contrasting it with slower-paced games like Dragon Warrior. The article posits Pokémon's success stems from its focus on social interaction and anticipates more Pokémon details at E3. Tam-Tam's Electric Brain Amusement Department. Installment number 6, Legendary Shooting Games, explores the genre's history, emphasizing influential titles. Our type is highlighted for its quality and impact. The article also features this month's illustration brain training completion project, showcasing Star Soldier. Manga strips discuss game strategies, referencing Gradius and Yo-Yo. A sudden announcement reveals the corner's end. The completion list features diverse games like Donkey Kong, Space Invaders, Super Mario Bros., and many more. The article includes brief reviews of several shooting games, including New Human Race, LaRue Alex, Puyin, Attack Animal Academy, and Star Luster, each briefly describing their gameplay and unique features. The N64 forum features reader letters covering various topics. One reader lamented the delay of The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Banjo-Kazooie. Another letter highlighted the lack of RPGs on the N64, urging developers to seize the opportunity. A third reader criticized N64 commercials, requesting more memorable advertisements similar to PlayStation's, specifically suggesting the inclusion of Mario and Luigi. Finally, a letter expressed excitement for the innovative Pokémon Snap, while also admitting some apprehension about its unconventional gameplay, hoping it would still appeal to Pokémon fans despite its departure from the traditional formula. The article explores the N64's impact on video games, noting the industry's push towards cinematic experiences through advancements in graphics and sound. It highlights the introduction of 3D graphics, voice acting, and anime adaptations, alongside a focus on gameplay. Nostalgia for older games is discussed, with an emphasis on player control and interactive fun. Reader feedback reveals varied reactions to the N64, including excitement for Pokémon, frustration with game delays, and concerns about magazine suspensions. Readers anticipate future games and the 64DD, while also sharing personal experiences and opinions about the console. A call for submissions encourages fans to share their perspectives on the N64 and future developments. This page presents 2 game reviews. Yakube from Ibaraki reviews Jikyu Powerful Pro Yakyu 5, a baseball game, praising its gameplay, event system, and overall stress-free experience. He enjoys the Pawapuro series, but finds unavoidable, frustrating events in success mode discouraging, suggesting a simpler mode. Maruo from Chiba reviews Wave Race 64, reminiscing about its release during the Nintendo 64's second wave. He highlights the game's exhilarating water racing, emphasizing its unique realism through the authentic feeling of controlling the watercraft and customizable machine settings. He contrasts this with other racing games of the time by highlighting its emphasis on player skill, the changing race conditions, and the overall immersive experience. This page features game reviews and user submissions. The main review is for GoldenEye 007, praised as a game that is still played even after its release and highlights its engaging gameplay and replayability. The reviewer emphasizes the fun of the 4-player battle mode, mentioning the various weapons and stage levels, including underground floors and multi-story buildings. The page also reviews Puzzle Bobble 64, noting the fast loading times of the ROM cartridge and responsive controls. The reviewer also appreciates the character design, and specifically mentions Vanilla as a charming character. There's a section calling for Dream Impression user submissions, inviting players to send in their game reviews for a chance to win a 2,000 yen toy ticket. The page also mentions a desire for a puzzle battle core software for the 64DD, and requests original N64 titles in the Puzzle Bobble and Exchange Puzzle series, citing games like Ganbare Goemon, The Money Puzzler Kiki Ipatsu, and Parodius as examples. This page showcases the Autumn Akihabara Price Survey, a ranking of N64 software popularity. Mario Kart 64 tops the chart, followed by Star Fox 64 and Super Mario 64 in the top 3. GoldenEye 007 is also highlighted as rising in popularity. The page notes that the number of N64 titles has increased, and the prices are becoming more affordable. It mentions that Golden Week before and after shows significant price drops, but popular titles might not change much in price. The Popularity Ranking Survey report analyzes the trends, mentioning that 007, GoldenEye 007, surpassed Yoshi's Story, and rose to 4th place, chasing Mario 64. It's also mentioned that in terms of this survey's vote count, 007 is in the top 3, close to SF64, Star Fox 64, and 1080-degree snowboarding, jumped from 22nd to 11th place. Paku Pro 5, GQ Powerful Pro Baseball 5, climbed from 45th to 17th, indicating a rapid rise in popularity. The bottom section discusses Pocket Pikachu pricing in Akihabara, suggesting it's around 2,500 to 3,000 yen, often sold out by evening and available at many stores. It asks readers about the availability in their neighborhood. The page also includes notes defining abbreviations in the table such as BB for battery backup, for rumble pack support, and CP for controller pack support, explaining that the numbers used are page counts, up to a maximum of 123 pages for saved data capacity. This page is about Marigold Management, described as a mysterious company involved in game software development, but surprisingly lacking development equipment in their offices. Despite this, many talented creators and producers frequent the location, hinting at ongoing game development. The article suggests Marigold is poised to create unprecedented games that will revolutionize the gaming world. The office is located in Daikanyama, Shibuya, Tokyo, noted for its fashionable atmosphere but surprisingly featuring a garden with bamboo shoots. The text hints that more information about a bamboo shoot visible in an accompanying photo can be found on page 97. This page delves into Marigold Management, a company established to support game creators. The article poses 2 key questions. What exactly is Marigold? And are the number of contracted creators increasing? Marigold is described as a company backed by Nintendo, designed to allow game developers to focus on creativity, while Marigold handles the business and administrative burdens. The page highlights that Marigold is actively working with numerous creators on new game projects, though specific titles are yet to be fully revealed. There is a diagram that outlines how Marigold's game fund operates, detailing the flow of investment and revenue distribution. The section showcases some of the creators and their tentative game titles under the Marigold Contract Creators banner. These include Sarupine, described as a human-animal love simulation game; Umbrella, known for a Pikachu game; Barlam, working on a giant robot action game; Clever Trick, developing a game referred to as a noisy game; Noise, bringing their arcade game expertise to a new project; Game Studio, creating a game compatible with the 64 GB cable, hinting at advanced technology; Animal Captain, Dobutsu Banchao, a puzzle game with a tentative title, featuring a quirky image of animal-themed block characters. It's noted that while the title is provisional, there's a desire to keep it as is. This page delves into questions surrounding Mary Murgle and its producers. It questions the role of the producer, specifically mentioning Ishihara-san, known as the sound producer for Pokemon, and the developer of Pikachu Genki Dechu. The page lists several Marigold contract producers, including Kukazu Ishihara from Creatures, Yuji Terao from Asobu Games, Visualize, Naomi Ezue from Datalogic, Koichi Nakamura from Chunsoft, Kazuhito Hirabayashi from Interact, and Hiroshi Kajiyama from Daub. The article then explores whether anyone can sign a contract with Marigold, suggesting it depends on the producer's judgment, and emphasizes the importance of enthusiasm and the ability to create interesting games. It also asks if anyone can invest in Marigold, comparing it to investment in Hollywood films, and implies that investment is possible with potential returns if the software is successful. Finally, the page questions if software will be released under the Marigold brand, clarifying that Marigold's primary focus is on managing game sales and supporting creators. They aim to enable creators to develop compelling games across various hardware platforms, including the N64, with the goal of producing games that are recognized as interesting and distinctly Marigold. The page includes an image of a Pikachu doll and lists the Marigold contract producers once again. The caption notes the presence of various game consoles and a demo of Pikachu Genki Dechu at the interview location. This page introduces the Sarugakucho department at Marigold Management, which is dedicated to supporting game creation from the initial stages, with a focus on debugging. The department's name, Sarugakucho, is being revealed to the public for the first time. The article explains that Marigold established this department to specialize in debugging for their in-house game development, allowing creators to concentrate on development itself. The piece includes an interview with Mr. Hashimoto Toru, the head of Sarugakucho, who discusses their approach. Sarugakucho aims to be more than just a debugging team. They strive to provide user perspective and feedback throughout the development process, establishing a strong link between game creators and the players to make better games. A diagram illustrates how the Sarugakucho system integrates into the game development flow, encompassing planning, monitoring, and debugging to ultimately achieve game completion. The next page introduces the Sarugakucho team, a group of passionate game debuggers aged 19 to 26, totaling 20 members. The article emphasizes their dedication and the ideal working environment created for them, focusing on visual and physical comfort. This includes elements like ergonomic chairs to prevent static electricity, organized cabling, and a relaxing atmosphere. The team is involved in the Good Game Remains project, aimed at preserving and potentially improving older games based on user feedback, especially titles they feel are incomplete or have areas for improvement. The page mentions Dr. Mario as an example, showing a screenshot of the game and suggesting the project may involve re-releasing classic Famicom games. This page is an interview with veteran game creator Masanobu Endo, known for titles like Xevious and Dordor. The interview focuses on his involvement with a project called Marigal and the GB plus 64DD software DT, which is currently under development. Endo explains that he decided to work on Marigal because he was impressed by the company's enthusiasm and creativity. He believes Marigal has the potential to expand the game world and offers a new appeal. He mentions meeting with SETA president and Mr. Fujimoto, which led to the realization of a new system using a 64 GB cable, tentative name. The 64 GB cable is highlighted as a new system where the Game Boy is used as a controller for the N64. The interview explains that this allows players to bring data from their Game Boy and use it in the N64 game, making portable gameplay possible. The page includes an image illustrating how the Game Boy connects to the N64 cartridges via this cable. DT is a forthcoming Nintendo 64 card game designed to merge card battling with computer game elements, developed by Endosan. Set in a near-future world of secret organizations and global economics, players will build decks and engage in strategic card battles within a story mode. The game draws inspiration from RPGs and simulation games, with influences from Water Maze and Submarine Platoon. DT aims to feature a vast card collection, potentially utilizing the 64DD's capacity for thousands of cards, with evolving versions. The release date is yet to be announced, with information expected from summer onwards. The game plans to utilize disc and cable peripherals at a later date. The article also highlights the 64 GB cable as a technological advancement with potential for other N64 titles. Furthermore, the article includes details about Endo-san's background and creative interests. This page introduces Pikachu Genki Dechu, which was released internationally as Hey You, Pikachu! It highlights the game as a debut work from a young creator group called Umbrella. The article discusses the background of the game's development with interview snippets from a person named Ozawa, who seems to be involved in the project. Ozawa talks about his initial ideas for Mary Gangle Games, and how he and his team, who were university friends making games on PCs, ended up working on this title. He mentions initially struggling to understand what Mary Gangle wanted, but eventually realized they were open to new ideas from young developers, even without a proven track record. The article mentions that the sound in Hey You, Pikachu is a key element and focuses on voice input, with Pikachu's voice being performed by the same voice actor from the anime, Ikue Otani. The development process involved going to Akihabara to buy materials and experimenting with microphones to ensure the voice recognition worked well. Ozawa also shares an anecdote about demonstrating the game to adults at Nintendo, where the humorous scene of adults talking to Pikachu on TV was met with amusement. He emphasizes the game's unique charm and appeal, despite its somewhat unusual premise. The article concludes by mentioning that over 100 voice patterns were recorded for Pikachu in the game. The interview details development of the N64 game, Hey You, Pikachu. Creating Pikachu's CG model was a month-long process for about 10 people. The team experimented with various designs before settling on the final look. Gameplay focuses on player interaction shaping Pikachu's behavior, and the game length is variable. Good. Microphone functionality is still being refined for multiplayer use. The cartridge color is undecided, though yellow is a possibility. While primarily focused on Pikachu, other Pokemon like Bulbasaur are being considered for future appearances. The developers aim for a Christmas release. The game is seen as a potential industry innovator. Post-interview notes mention the influence of Mary Gal on attracting talent and reshaping the gaming landscape. Screenshots showcase the 3D Pikachu model and the microphone interface. This page is from the N64 Question Box, Volume 22, a Nintendo official Q&A section. It features Mr. Hongo from Nintendo's Public Relations Department answering reader questions. One question recounts a fan encountering Miyamoto Shigeru on a bicycle at Nintendo headquarters and managing to ask him a question. Another question asks about the release date of Zelda, presumably the Legend of Zelda game for N64. Mr. Hongo responds, apologizing for any delays and indicating they are aiming for an autumn release, potentially September, but more likely October or November, with a simultaneous worldwide launch in mind. The page also includes sections like Pocket Hangou, likely showcasing reader submissions, and World's First Nintendo Headquarters Public, with photos of Nintendo HQ, including Miyamoto on his bike. Lastly, there is a section about an ammonite fossil located at Nintendo headquarters, mentioned as an unrelated interesting fact. This page is a question and answer section from a magazine focusing on N64 information. The first question is about the price of Zelda and why it's undetermined. The answer explains that the price is a suggested retail price, and Nintendo wants to keep software prices down. They are holding off announcing the price until the release date is finalized, suggesting the price of Zelda will likely be around 6,800 yen. The second question asks for the name of the horse in Zelda. The answer reveals the horse's name is Epona. The respondent mentions they almost forgot the name and jokes about it. They clarify that while players can change the names of player characters like Link, the horse's name is fixed from the start and cannot be changed. It is also mentioned that Epona featured on the cover of the 64Dream magazine's May issue. The third question asks about 1080 and the next F-Zero game. The answer mentions there was a gap after the release of 1080 Degrees Snowboarding, but F-Zero-X will be released on July 14th. It's stated that F-Zero-X is being released shortly after the Pokemon Stadium game on August 1st, making it a summer with two big N64 software releases. The respondent believes many people, including younger players who may have played the Super Famicom version, are looking forward to F-Zero-X. They mention that CM advertising will likely start around mid-June. This page is a Nintendo official Q&A section. One question is about F-Zero-X, with the user asking if 3 laps are too short. Nintendo responds that 1 lap is quite long, and they adjusted it from 5 to 3 laps to improve the graphics based on feedback. Another question asks if the N64 will become a big hit this year, to which Nintendo replies to wait and see, mentioning anticipated titles like F-Zero X, Pokemon Stadium, The Legend of Zelda, and Banjo-Kazooie, emphasizing their focus on quality software releases when they are ready. A further question asks about the titles Nintendo plans to showcase at E3, and Nintendo answers that the lineup isn't finalized yet but confirms The Legend of Zelda, F-Zero X, Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, and Pokemon Stadium are expected, with more news coming, including updates on the 64DD. Finally, a question asks about GoldenEye 07's popularity overseas. Nintendo confirms it's incredibly popular, especially in America, highlighting its high ranking and enjoyable 4-player mode, where people even play on divided TV screens. Screenshots from F-Zero X and GoldenEye 007 are included. This Q&A section addresses several Nintendo 64-related topics. The first highlights the difficulty in showcasing the appeal of 4-player games in retail settings, due to space limitations and demo setup. Another question discusses the comparison between Banjo-Kazooie and The Legend of Zelda, affirming both are excellent games, with Banjo-Kazooie even garnering praise from Miyamoto. Regarding Kirby 64, the release date was uncertain due to development restarting and HAL Laboratories' other projects. A cancelled Kirby commercial is also mentioned. Kirby Air Ride was initially considered, later, a minigame. Lastly, there are no current plans for a Bowser-starring game, though precedent exists in games like Dr. Mario and Wario's Woods. This Nintendo official Q&A addresses user inquiries regarding the Nintendo 64. One question probes the voice recognition microphone's potential beyond karaoke, which is dismissed as unintended, with a humorous acknowledgement. Another question asks about a Family Basic-like peripheral for the N64. The answer is negative, explaining Family Basic's programming capabilities for the Famicom, and noting the shift in personal computer accessibility. The final question, from a user in Nagasaki, asks about a new console. Nintendo responds it's premature to announce, emphasizing the focus on N64's success, while acknowledging ongoing research for future hardware. The Q&A also presents a timeline of Nintendo hardware releases, highlighting the company's product history from 1983 through 1999. This page is a question and answer section. The first question asks about the benefit of releasing Super Famicom software now, and the answer explains that there is still demand and the Super Famicom is still relevant, as seen with the release of the affordable Super Famicom Jr. The second question is about why writable ROM cartridges are being sold, with the answer coming from a distributor who mentions demand from loss and convenience stores and a focus on urban areas. They mention the game Shin Heisei Oni Gashima, New Heisei Oni Island. The final question asks about Dr. Mario being revived on Nintendo Power. The answer explains that Dr. Mario, originally released on Famicom and Game Boy and selling millions, is being considered for a Super Famicom release due to popular demand. It also notes that Dr. Mario was originally developed under the title Virus. Screenshots of both New Heisei Oni Gashima and Dr. Mario are shown. This page is a Q&A section covering various topics related to Nintendo's handheld consoles. The first question addresses compatibility between a game referred to as Pokemon Yellow, tentative title, and Pokesta, likely Pokemon Stadium. The response indicates they are looking into it, highlighting minigames and features planned for Pokemon Yellow, and ensuring differentiation from Red, Green, and Blue. Screenshots of Pikachu and Bulbasaur in battle from Pokemon Stadium are shown. Another question asks about the release timing of the Color Game Boy. The answer states it will be showcased at E3 and released in Japan after the American release. An image of the Color Game Boy prototype is included, and there's a side question asking if they plan to make this type of Game Boy. The third question is about why the Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Light use different battery sizes. The response humorously mentions cost and different manufacturer choices for batteries and parts, suggesting component manufacturers can change over time. An image of Pocket Pikachu is displayed. Finally, a question addresses playing Game Boy on airplanes. The answer clarifies that it's generally acceptable during level flight, but usage is discouraged during takeoff and landing. Some airlines even offer Game Boy rental services, particularly on international routes. An image of an airplane is included to illustrate the point. This page is from the N64 question box section of a magazine and features reader questions answered by Hongo. The first question asks if it's permissible to modify Pokemon data in retail products, to which the answer is a definitive no, stating it is absolutely not allowed. The second question inquires if Nintendo manufactured playing cards during the Russo-Japanese War. The answer confirms this to be true, noting that Nintendo began making playing cards around that time and still produces them today, including Pokemon-themed playing cards and standard Nintendo playing cards. The third question asks why Hongo himself answers the questions in this section. The humorous answer explains he was initially tricked into doing it as a one-time thing, but it has continued for about 2 years. The page also contains a recruitment banner encouraging readers to send in their N64-related questions to Hongo, accompanied by an image of Pikachu. There is a smaller section called Teach Me Hongo that features a photo of Hongo and an image of the Nintendo 64 console and controller. This page is from the monthly news section, focusing on the hype and anticipation surrounding E3 and the N64 game announcements. It emphasizes the need to verify online information, as rumors are running wild. Nintendo of America's official website is highlighted as a reliable source for information. The page lists a lineup of games expected to be shown at E3 based on internet buzz. This includes titles such as 12 Tales, Conquer 64, which later became Conker's Bad Fur Day, MLB featuring Ken Griffey Jr., Kobe Bryant's NBA Courtside, Waialae Country Club, True Golf Classics, Bomberman Hero, 1080 Degrees Snowboarding, Zelda 64, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, F-Zero X, Cruisin' World, Banjo-Kazooie, Pokemon Stadium, Donkey Kong 64, and Killer Instinct 3. Screenshots are featured for GT64 Championship Edition, Quest 64, Bust-A-Move 2, Puzzle Bobble 2, and NBA Courtside. Additionally, the page covers the upcoming release of the Color Game Boy, detailing its expected release date, the number of colors it will display, 56 colors, with 10 simultaneous colors, compatibility with existing Game Boy cartridges, size, battery life of approximately 10 hours, and a price of 12,800 yen. Lastly, there's a small section announcing new visual information for the game Jungle Emperor Leo, indicating that new screenshots are available and will be reviewed to verify their content with Nintendo. The next page features a news article focusing on the establishment of a new organization called ACES, Game Software Resale Organization, and the ongoing issue of used games in the industry. It discusses the conflict between CESA, Computer Entertainment Software Association, and ARTS, TV Game Software Association, regarding solutions for the used game problem, and mentions a press conference held by ACES, which is a new industry body formed by various game companies and retailers, including TV Panic and Booksquare. The article highlights ACS's objectives, which are to promote the overall development of the TV game industry, focusing on the TV game business, and securing stable retail market conditions. The article also touches on the differing stances of CESA and ARTS regarding used games, and hopes for ACS to act as a mediator. There's also an advertisement for Olympus iTrek personal display glasses in the goods section, emphasizing its lightweight design and benefits for gaming. Finally, the page announces the winners of the Mangasuda Race prize draw, listing names and prefectures of the winners who will receive GB software as a prize. It mentions that more prizes have been added and encourages readers to check the present corner for details on how to apply in the future. This page features several announcements and events. A campaign for Extreme G offers sunglasses with in-store game purchases, celebrating the N64 game's launch. The Pokemon World 98 event in Tokyo is recapped, detailing card battles, stage events, a tournament, and merchandise sales. The Tokyo Character Show is advertised for August, promising a large market for character goods with an international appeal. The 1080 Degrees Snowboarding Soundtrack CD from Pony Canyon is announced. A Wild Choppers Present campaign offers prizes like pin badges and bandanas based on a keyword found within the game. Finally, a Reader's Corner showcases a detailed Star Fox figure. This page covers various topics. Goods highlights Bomberman merchandise, including a soundtrack CD, a commemorative subway card, and rental videos. News sections announce the arrival of Pokemon in America and a forthcoming Tezuka Osamu World theme park based on Astro Boy, scheduled to open in 2003. The park, focused on culture and nature's rich harmony, is planned for Kawasaki. An event section advertises a glow-in-the-dark Poca Pika Game Boy pouch. Reader Corner encourages reader feedback. Finally, Monthly News analyzes leisure trends from 1997, revealing eating out as the most popular activity, with a noted decrease in leisure spending in urban areas. This page previews several news items and events. Touch Go Go is a new in-store system for game information at stores like Doki Doki Adventure Island. News includes a Super Speed Race 64 campaign for the N64 game Lamborghini Countach, detailing how to obtain a victory code. Another feature highlights Gunpei Yokoi's My Puzzle Jigsaw Puzzle. Nintendo's headquarters relocation, planned for 2000, is also announced, increasing floor space. The Tokyo Game Show, 98 Autumn, is scheduled for October 9 to 11. Finally, a report covers a Dosukoi campaign related to 64 Grand Sumo Tournament 2, including a sumo experience tour, raising the question of the game's release. The next page is about the latest news from the E3 show in Atlanta, mentioning that even though Nintendo, Sega, and Sony were there in force, the best way to get E3 info is online via the official E3 website. There's also a Chibi Chibi Star Fox manga strip, which seems to be about new members joining Star Wolf. Below this is a section on rare items, this month featuring the Endo Collection, showcasing a special Nintendo 64 controller. It's described as a rare item from the American version of Zelda and mentions it's the same color as the controller bundled with Mario Kart 64. Apparently, this special controller was obtainable by purchasing an N64 at Halomac, and the special thing about it is a sticker on the controller. The article also mentions the collector bought 3 N64 consoles to get this controller, and a second one to get a clear purple controller. Finally, at the bottom, there's a T-Break puzzle section, which is a skeleton crossword puzzle related to Mario Kart 64 courses. It gives instructions on how to solve it, and mentions that correct answers can win a 3-item prize set in the 64Dream July issue. This page introduces Genju Ryodan, a sword and magic simulation game for Nintendo Power and SF Memory Cassette, set to release on June 1st. Designed by Meow, with character designs from Metal Max series Yamamoto Takaaki, the game boasts cute characters and deep strategic gameplay. It's a map-clearing simulation with a substantial 33 stages, where you command up to 20 of the 66 unique unit types. The game world is divided into distinct countries, each with specialized units. The fairy country Noatune features units skilled at inducing sleep, like mermaids and unicorns. The demon country Dagon has powerful units excelling in combat and petrification, such as dragons and giants. The military state Barorugu offers balanced units like Dragon Knights and Ninja. Lastly, the Land of the Dead Garugam is home to super-strong undead units effective against their own kind, including skeletons and vampires. For newcomers, a rule explanation mode is included, designed to guide players from the basics to map-clearing strategies. Screenshots showcase the game's interface, unit stats, and map environments. This page offers a basic gameplay guide for Ogre Battle 64. Person of Lordly Caliber. It begins by outlining the opening story set in Valkandra, a world of swords and magic, where humans and phantom beasts coexist, now threatened by the evil Skullkaiser. The guide then walks players through the fundamental steps of the game, starting from the game start, and covering key actions, like recruiting soldiers, capturing mana race points to secure resources, and engaging in combat with enemies. It also explains unit merging and general strategic approaches to map progression, all aimed at preparing players to defeat Skullkaiser. The guide focuses on the first map of the game, called Nameless Island. This page introduces Dr. Mario for the Super Famicom, noting its release starting June 1st. It highlights the game as a popular puzzle title returning to the SFC. The page mentions that in 1990, Dr. Mario was released on the Famicom, becoming a hit puzzle game with simple rules of eliminating viruses by matching capsule colors. This SFC version is described as the definitive edition, with even deeper gameplay, promising addictive Dokumari days ahead. A key new feature is the addition of CPU battles, alongside the traditional one-player and two-player versus modes. The article emphasizes that while one-player mode is fun for leveling up, the real essence of the game lies in the competitive aspect, especially now against the CPU. CPU battles offer 3 difficulty levels: easy, normal, and hard, challenging even skilled players. The rules remain simple. Use 6 types of capsules to eliminate 3 types of viruses. Capsules fall randomly, and players must align 3 or more of the same color capsules with viruses of the same color to eliminate them. The article also explains the chain reaction concept in versus mode, where consecutive virus eliminations allow you to send nuisance half capsules to your opponent, adding a strategic layer to the gameplay. The screenshots showcase gameplay with different virus colors and capsule arrangements, demonstrating the puzzle mechanics and the versus mode interface. This page previews two Super Famicom games. Firstly, Wrecking Crew 98 is highlighted as a puzzle game where you clear panels by matching colors. It's a remake of the original Famicom Wrecking Crew from 1985, combining the original and a new 98 version in one package. The gameplay involves strategically destroying blocks and using colored panels for special effects, like sending monsters or iron blocks. Secondly, Heisei no Onigashima Zenpen Kouhen is introduced as an adventure game based on the famous Japanese folktale. It's described as an outer story to the popular Disk System version, focusing on animal characters like a dog, monkey, and pheasant. The game is divided into chapters with story elements centered around a princess and ogres, using a command-based interface with options like move, talk, and see. Completing the game unlocks the original 1987 Famicom no Onigashima as a bonus. This page is focused on providing strategy tips for the Super Famicom game Rockman and Forte, known internationally as Mega Man and Bass. It introduces the 8 boss characters you will encounter in the game and the special weapons you can obtain by defeating them. Starting with Cold Man, it is suggested to begin with him as his stage is considered the easiest. Defeating him grants you the Ice Wall weapon. Next up is Burner Man, who attacks with fire. You get the Wave Burner weapon after beating him. Pirate Man is described as battling in water with variable water depths, and he gives you the Remote Mine weapon. Ground Man is fast and attacks from above with drills, awarding the Spread Drill weapon. Tengu Man uses large shuriken-like weapons and grants the Tengu Blade. Magic Man uses card attacks, and his weapon is the Magic Card. Astro Man, who creates copies of himself, gives the Copy Vision weapons. Lastly, Dynamo Man, who attacks with lightning, and his weapon is the Lightning Bolt. The page gives brief descriptions of each boss, their attack methods, and the weapons you receive, guiding players on a recommended order to tackle them. This page features 4 Game Boy game previews. First is Metarote Parts Collection 2, an RPG, where you power up your robots, collect parts, and battle in a story different from the previous game, with 20 stages available, and it supports link cable battles with friends. Next is Quick Quiz Royal Throne Decision Match, an ETC genre game, a quiz game for up to 8 players, emphasizing speed and quick button presses, also with link cable support for friend battles. The third game is Sea Nushi Fishing 2, an RPG, and the latest in the series where you fish, sell your catches to buy better equipment, and fight creatures to catch bigger fish. Finally, there is Nintama Rantaro GB Challenge Puzzle, a puzzle game that supports the pocket printer to print game progress and passwords, where you assemble 9 picture pieces within a time limit, and you can create puzzle stickers and play against friends. This page showcases 3 Game Boy titles. World Soccer GB, developed by Konami and set for release on June 4th, is a straightforward soccer game. It boasts simple controls and a massive roster of 36 teams and 648 players. Konami also brings us High Pressure Boy, launching July 2nd, which is a unique weather card battle game. You battle monsters, using strategic weather card battles based on atmospheric pressure. Lastly, Hudson presents Pocket Family GB, a simulation game scheduled for a summer release. In this game, you experience the life of a homeowner with your family, and it includes various mini-games. The page concludes with a release calendar for both Super Famicom and Game Boy games. This page is a list of Nintendo Power rewrite titles categorized by memory capacity. It details games available for rewrite based on their size, ranging from 32M to 4M, measured in blocks. The page explains the SF memory cassette system, stating that a 32M cartridge can hold up to 7 games depending on their size, and that menu space will take up 4Ms. It also features editorial recommendations, specifically highlighting a Dokapon set, which includes 2 Dokapon games: Decisive Battle, Dokapon Kingdom IV, and Dokapon 3.2.1, Let's Get Mad and Be Friends. The page lists various game titles with their SRAM requirements, developers, and genres for each capacity category. For example, under 32M, games like Super Donkey Kong 1, 2, and 3 are listed alongside Wizardry Gaiden IV, Throb of the Demon Heart, Tail Fantasia, and Superfire Pro Wrestling Premium. Under 16M, titles include Tawam Your Dream, Ya Kaochu, Rockman X, Mega Man X, Final Fight 2, and Kirby Bowl, Kirby's Dream Course. The 4M section features Dr. Mario and Super Mario World. This page is about The Legend of Zelda and the reasons for its release delay. The top section shows a comic strip where someone from 64Dream magazine is talking to an artist about drawing Zelda illustrations. The main title announces Legend of Zelda and focuses on uncovering the truth behind the game's postponed release. Below this, another comic strip featuring Star Fox characters humorously illustrates the situation causing the delay. The Star Fox team receives urgent orders concerning a secret transport and the 64 Zelda program. They are tasked to deal with explosive chickens and realize these chickens are responsible for an accident causing the release date, initially planned for autumn 97, to be changed to winter 97. The characters joke about these chickens potentially being the cause of the delay. This page features a humorous manga comic strip that seems to be based on the Star Fox 64 game. The comic follows Fox and his team as they navigate various challenges, including a lava zone, encounters with Starwolf, and the villain Andross. Within the comic panels, there are announcements regarding game release date delays. Specifically, it states that the release of Mother 3 is postponed from winter 1997 to an undetermined date. Furthermore, the release of The Legend of Zelda is also delayed until autumn 1998, due to a raiding party's distress, with their return status being unconfirmed. The page also notes other game release date shifts due to accidents and traffic conditions, moving some titles from winter 1997 to 1998 and others to late April 1998. The page ends with a request for reader feedback via postcards and a message from the 64Dream editorial team expressing their anticipation for the release of Zelda. This page is from the Bistro de 64 Cooking Corner and features a recipe for Sweet Bomberman. It's a recipe for sweet potato sweets shaped like Bomberman. The text describes them as easy to make using a microwave and a fun treat to make with family, tying it to the game's theme of rescuing Princess Million. The page shows pictures of the finished sweets, both on a cake decorated with Bomberman characters and as individual sweets on a rack and a plate, some even displayed with Mario and Yoshi figures for extra fun. The sweets are described as slightly sweet, cold, and delicious, recommending them to be chilled in the refrigerator. This page is a recipe guide titled Rokuyan Food Hall on how to make Bomberman sweets. The page details an 8-step recipe starting with ingredients which include sweet potato, butter, sugar, egg yolk, coffee cream, and chocolate deco pen. The steps involve peeling and microwaving the sweet potato, mixing ingredients, mashing, shaping the dough into Bomberman heads, glazing with egg yolk, baking in a toaster oven, and finally decorating the faces with chocolate deco pen. The page includes images for each step and finishes with a call for reader submissions of recipe ideas. It mentions a Tommy Pocket Monsters chocolate make product, but this is mentioned as a separate product, unrelated to the Bomberman recipe, but as a suggestion for making Pokemon chocolates. This page is a Pokemon Paradise comic strip where the characters Mario, Luigi, and Erebon are featured. The strip starts with an announcement that this is the final episode, which causes shock and surprise among the characters. They express their disbelief and question why it's ending so suddenly. Luigi and Mario try to console Erebon, joking around, although Mario mentions something about having a part-time job at a TV show. There's a panel featuring Pikachu here. Erebon later appears with a new haircut, which is comically compared to a rock star's style. She then talks about seizing opportunities and refers to the Pocket Pikachu device, mentioning the friendly mode, and wondering what the next level will be. Perhaps love. The comic ends with Mario seemingly having made a blunder and asking for encouragement for Erebon, who is depicted to have lost something, maybe metaphorically. It seems to be a humorous and light-hearted farewell to the Pokemon Paradise comic series. This page is a fun manga strip featuring Princess Peach in a rather assertive mood. She's telling off Mario, Luigi, and Toad, calling them the Idiot Trio, and jokingly threatens to take over their corner, whatever that may be. She even jokes about being called Princess Clumsy Peach Princess in the title. The story then takes a turn, as Peach generously invites everyone out for drinks to celebrate something, much to their delight. However, it seems there's a bit of a shock when a hefty bill arrives, presumably for the drinks. At the end, there's a very grateful girl and Pikachu character, who are thanking everyone and asking for more work, and they mention the Pokemon anime being back on, and how happy they are to see Hikari again each week. The bottom text mentions Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach specifically, and someone called Erebon, who enjoyed working on game-related stuff and was happy to meet everyone. This page is a showcase of fan-submitted Pokemon illustrations for a Pokemon Encyclopedia feature in the magazine. The page displays various Pokemon artworks with their number and name in Japanese, along with the artist's name and prefecture. It highlights that these are fan-created illustrations for a Pokemon Encyclopedia as part of the magazine content. This page is a preview of the upcoming Pokemon Pikachu version, tentative, game, which is described as similar to Pokemon Red, Green, and Blue, but with Pikachu always with you from the start and with slightly lower difficulty. The page features screenshots from the game, showing gameplay that looks similar to the Game Boy titles, but on the Nintendo 64. There's also a section announcing that the Pokepara segment will be renewed as Pokepara 2 from the next issue, focusing on the latest Pokemon information and accepting reader submissions. The top of the page showcases fan submissions of Pokemon drawings, including various Pokemon like Parasaurus, Abra, Krabby, Execute, Cubone, Marowak, Hitmonlee, Sandslash, Coughing, Wheezing, Rhyhorn, Tangela, Seadra, Goldeen, Seeking, Gyarados, Lapras, Ditto, Eevee, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, Omanite, Kabuto, Patera, Cabagon, Zapdos, Articuno, Mewtwo, and Mew. The text at the bottom right mentions that due to the popularity of Pokemon, they received 357 postcards for the fan art section. And despite wanting to create a complete Pokédex illustration, it was not possible to fit all 151 Pokémon. It also lists the top 3 most popular Pokémon based on submissions. Mini-Ryu, Dratini, in first place, Pikachu in second place, and Paris in third place. Keep It Up! Mario Parent and Child Core is a fan art page, likely from a Nintendo 64 magazine. It showcases reader-submitted illustrations centered around Nintendo games. The page begins with a mock conversation between Mario, Luigi, and Peach in military uniforms discussing illustration themes. The featured fan art includes drawings of characters and elements from various games. Examples include a Bomberman character, a cat-eared woman, Princess Peach, Link from The Legend of Zelda, Gengar, and several original characters. Each artwork includes the artist's name and Japanese prefecture. Captions often mention the depicted game or character, with comments on style and mentioning titles like Bomberman Hero, Mother 2, and 64Dream. There's also a fan letter thanking, "Why, Sisa-san?" and a mention of Silrin. This page showcases fan art submissions centered around the theme of Mario and Luigi, along with a section dedicated to illustrations by artists under 10 years old and fan letters. The Mario and Luigi art interpretations are diverse, ranging from an elderly depiction of the brothers reading Nintendo travel newspaper, to a split-face image comparing them to fast food logos, a silhouetted mystery character, plumber-themed artwork, and even a throwback to the original Famicom Mario Bros. Game featuring classic sprites. One fan art piece is noted for its simplicity and cute style, emphasizing Mario's belly. The illustration fan letter section features fan-created artwork and accompanying letters. These include a Zelda piece focused on Link from Ocarina of Time, a Star Fox illustration featuring Falco imagined as a human, and a Princess Peach drawing. The Illustrations Under 10 Years Old segment presents young artists' interpretations of various game characters. Bomberman is depicted in his Bomberman jet form. Kirby characters are shown gathered together with anticipation for the 64 version. Fox McCloud is mistakenly referred to as Bomberman Rui. Yoshi is featured in another drawing, as well as Link in an anime-inspired style. There is also an anime-style girl drawing included in this section. The Kirby section's mention of the 64 version likely alludes to the upcoming Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards game. This page features fan art inspired by various games and characters, showcasing player passion. The art includes Blood Falcon from F-Zero, art for Solomon's Key, baseball characters from the Mother series, and Wonder Project J2 characters. Other featured characters include Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Link, F-Zero X characters, Octoman, Kirby, Bomberman, Princess Peach, and a character from Elteal. The collection also includes Banjo-Kazooie, Mario, Yoshi, a frog character, and a character potentially from Kindaichi Case Files. The art pieces range from referencing specific games to expressing anticipation for new releases and celebrating beloved characters. This page is showcasing reader-submitted content and illustrations. There's a section called 4 Manga Corner, which features short comic strips. One strip is about Star Fox 64, with Fox McCloud discussing going back to the Star Fox box. Another comic strip stars Mario and Toad in a humorous exchange, and there's also a strip with an Eevee, possibly from Pokemon. Another section, Angry People, displays fan art of characters with exaggerated angry expressions. This includes a really intense and angry depiction of Mario, a caricatured Bomberman, a monstrous-looking Pikachu, a scary Grimer-like Pokemon, and a grumpy baseball player. The page also features an illustration contest, inviting readers to submit character illustrations, and 4-panel manga. Submissions should be sent to the 64Dream editorial department, Shin Itai section. Contributors are asked to include their name, address, and pen name on the back of their submissions. There are also lists of names which are likely the contributors who are featured in this issue. These lists are categorized under titles like Chief Sergeant Rank Candidate and Sergeant Rank, and so on, possibly indicating different levels of recognition or participation in the magazine's community. This page from Dream Technique Palace focuses on option modes in Bomberman Hero. It mentions hidden techniques in games like FIFA. Road to World Cup 98. The page details how to unlock option modes in Bomberman Hero by collecting medals. Clearing stages earns medals based on points, with gold medals being the best. There's a table showing the medal requirements for each stage to unlock options. 3 option modes are highlighted. The sound test is available from the start, allowing you to listen to the game's music with a band composed of Bomberman, Million Queen, and Pibbo. The slider race unlocks after collecting 4 gold medals. This mode is a ski-based race against Bomberman Slider on the Spencer course. Million's Treasure Hunt becomes available with 6 gold medals. In this mode, you search for Million Queen's treasures, which are scattered across stages Bomberman has explored. Screenshots show gameplay for each of these option modes. This page features information on 2 N64 games, FIFA Road to World Cup 98 and Super Speed Race 64. For FIFA Road to World Cup 98, it details dream techniques achievable by renaming players. These techniques include the ending theater, activated by renaming a player to Nori and pressing Z plus C right plus C up on the round select screen. Parameter Unlimited can be unlocked by renaming a USA Vancouver player to Dave. Ghost Player is activated by renaming an AFC of Japan player to UJI. Invisible England is achieved by renaming a Slovakia player to Lasco. Wireframe mode is unlocked by renaming a Sheffield Wednesday player to Wayne. Tiny Player is activated by renaming a CAF of Canada player to Mark. And another Tiny Player effect is achieved by renaming a USA Vancouver player to Carey. For Super Speed Race 64, it describes how to unlock hidden machines and reverse courses. To unlock hidden machines, players need to achieve first place in the normal championship mode, or time challenge mode. Reverse courses are unlocked by selecting reverse in the direction option on the course selection screen. This page is about achieving high scores in 1080 degrees snowboarding on the Dragon Cave course, offering tips like selecting trick attack mode, following signposts, and exploiting glitches for extra time and points. It also details special characters for the fighting game Power Moves, Bakuto Gekigaten, where passwords unlock characters like Ryumao and Bokuchin to get treasure, and Robo no Hana and Ryuhyo no Plachina, who are described as metal characters with enhanced abilities, unlocked with specific button inputs after entering the password for Robo no Hana. This page shares fun tips and tricks for several Nintendo 64 games. In Bomberman Hero, access the sound test by pressing key left and C right for a music bonus. FIFA Road to World Cup 98 lets you hear taiko drums after scoring by pressing B. Airborder 64 allows 2P color selection by holding Z, and offers combo tips for Sunset Island. 1080 degrees. Snowboarding's Trick Attack mode has a possible Mario cameo in the audience. Space Dynamites features playable bosses Dimiteron, A, B, R, L, C down, cup on title screen, and Sunork, C down, cleft, D-pad right. The page ends with a call for reader submissions of dream techniques, with instructions on how to submit using a postcard, and offers an International Superstar Soccer 99 code for an end-of-century team. This page previews upcoming N64 game news. Release dates for F-Zero X and Pokemon Stadium are set, encouraging pre-orders. E3 news is promised in the next issue. Previews include RPGs, Mother 3 inches, Earthbound 64, and Super Mario RPG 2 inches, Paper Mario, for 64DD, both facing delays. Telltale receives praise from Tokyo Game Show with a potential U.S. release. Hybrid Heaven is expected to be a strategic RPG. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time showcases action screenshots with a possible October-November release. Banjo-Kazooie may have influenced Zelda's development. Ultra Donkey Kong 64, is rumored for an E3 announcement. Conker's Quest, Conker's Bad Fur Day, may be published by Rare. Kirby 64 is unlikely this year, and is undergoing significant changes. This article previews several upcoming and recently released action games for the Nintendo 64. Titles include the highly anticipated Super Mario 64 2, in development at Nintendo with Miyamoto's involvement, and Akumajo Dracula 3D, Castlevania 3D, from Konami, a hybrid 3D title. Hudson's Super B-Daemon Battle, Phoenix 64 and Konami's Rakuga Kids were already released. Other games on the horizon are Ubisoft's Tonic Trouble, Koei's Winback, Acclaim Japan's Prime's Wrecking Balls, and Hudson's robot battle game, Last Legion UX. Finally, Super Robot Spirits from Banpresto, Fighting Cup, likely Clay Fighter 63 and a third Hiryu no Ken Twin 2, and Nintendo's unreleased Jungle Emperor are also mentioned. This page previews upcoming N64 titles, primarily slated for 1998. Adventure game, Kindaichi Shonen no Jikenbo, Kari, from Hudson is planned, potentially with 64DD compatibility. Nintendo has SimCity 64, Carry, and Kiabetsu, Carry, both DD-compatible simulation games. Maxis is developing SimCopter 64, Carry, to complement SimCity 64. Tommy presents Chojiku Yosai Macross Another Dimension, Kari, a Macross-based flight simulator/shooter. Video Systems Flight Simulator, Kari, is also planned. Other titles include Bottom-Ups RPG-infused simulation, One Guy Monster, Amtech's biorhythm-based puzzle game Bio Tetris, Culture Brain's puzzle game Nintama Rantaro Challenge Puzzle 64, Nintendo's shooting game Body Harvest, potentially cancelled, Hudson's remake of Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth, and Ubisoft's shooting game Buck Bumble. Many release dates are tentative or unknown, especially those linked to the 64DD. This page showcases a variety of upcoming N64 games. Acclaim Japan is previewing Forsaken, a radical 360-degree space shooter with impressive visuals and speed, and Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, promising enhanced AI, better graphics, and 4-player battles. Kemco is also featured with 2 shooting titles, Blade and Barrel, a game with an uncertain future after system changes and limited information, and Knife Edge, Nose Gunner, a hardcore helicopter shooter currently being developed with screenshots appearing online. Sports titles are also prominent. Imagineer presents Professional Baseball King 2, a sequel with updated player data and improved visuals. Culture Brain is set to release GQ Powerful Pro Baseball 64, highlighting its Ultra mode with significantly upgraded graphics from the SFC version. Konami has International Superstar Soccer 98, focusing on the World Cup 98 mode and enhanced player editing. They are also releasing Hyper Olympic in Nagano, an ice hockey game featuring NHL All-Stars from the Nagano Winter Olympics. Imagineer also has Snowspeeder, a snowboarding and skiing game aiming to be the best on N64. Kemco returns with King Hill 64 Extreme Snowboarding, a story-driven snowboarding game. Nintendo is previewing NBA Courtside, a basketball game developed in the US with a currently unclear Japanese release, and a golf title from HAL Laboratory, though their focus is currently on other projects like Mother 3 and Kirby 64. Upcoming and recently released N64 games include a variety of genres. Let's Smash, Hudson, is a tennis game. Kirato Kaihi 64 Tantaidan, Imagineer, is an unreleased detective board game. Pro Shogi Meihao Senryaku, Culture Brain, is a shogi game. Bakushu Jinsei 64 Mezase, Resort O, Taito, is a resort management board game. 64 Trump Collection Alice no Waku Waku Trump World, Bottom Up, is a trump card game. Racing titles include Nintendo's FZEROX, Taito's Super Speed Race 64, Takara's Choro Q 64 inches, Penny Racers, SETA's Rev Limit, Car Customization, an unnamed video system title, and Extreme G, Acclaim. Kayaburi Battle 3000 inches, Japan System Supply, is a futuristic battle racer with uncertain release. This article previews several upcoming and recently released N64 games. Pachinko titles like Jissen Pachisuro Hishuhao and Pachinko 365 Days are highlighted. Nintendo's Mario Artist series features Picture Maker, Polygon Maker, and Talent Maker, enabling creative content generation. Pokemon Stadium, with Pikachu, and Pokemon Snap, a photography game, are also showcased. Hey You, Pikachu! Offers diverse gameplay experiences. Doshin the Giant allows players to manipulate terrain as a giant, while Dubutsu Banchao is a unique title with love simulation elements. Legend of the River King 64 promises the ultimate fishing experience, and Desaimon 3D, a shooting game creation tool, allows players to design their own games. This page is showcasing a Reader's Prize giveaway from the 64Dream. This month, the prizes are varied, including t-shirts, jackets, signed autographs, and more. The top prize is a Nintendo 64 console. Other prizes include controller variations known as Controller Lab Bros and the N64 game Bomberman Hero. There's also a Hypersteering 64 accessory and a Game Boy game called Mongosuda A-Race. Signed autograph paper by Takahashi Meijin is available, alongside Super Famicom prizes like Rockman and Forte, and related merchandise. Power Pro prizes include a doll and pencil board, and Sonic Wings Assault branded jacket, cap, and t-shirt. A mousepad from the digital magazine Busters is also featured. For PC gamers, there is Game Maker's Select 1 Irritating Haul. Rounding out the prizes are Baton and N64 game cases. To enter, readers need to fill out the questionnaire postcard, specifying the prize number and name, with a deadline of June 20, 1998, and winners announced in the September issue of the 64Dream. A reader survey for 64Dream magazine offers prizes to respondents who rate the current issue, select their favorite and least favorite articles from a list covering topics like N64 game reviews and rankings. Readers are also asked about their first and favorite video games, and which character they want as a sticker. Table 1 lists the magazine's articles, while Table 2 previews upcoming N64 games. The page announces the winners of May's prizes, including consoles and game-related items. Finally, Ann Kate's Viewpoint discusses the potential social awkwardness for adults buying gaming magazines, referencing Pikachu Genki Dechu. This page is a contents page for the 64Dream Nintendo 64 magazine, highlighting the upcoming August issue, which is scheduled for release on June 21st. And the next issue will feature a large special on E3 Atlanta 98. The page lists a Dream Game Index, which appears to be the contents of the magazine, mentioning games like Winback, Legend of the River King 2, Extreme Gi, F-Zero X, Nagano Winter Olympics 98, International Superstar Soccer 98, as World Cup France 98, F1 World Grand Prix, as Super Speed Race 64, Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, Penny Racers, as Choro Q 64. Desaimon 3D, Dr. Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Pokemon Stadium, and some Japan-only titles are also listed like Wanagai Monster, Genju Ryodan, Kukiatsu Boy, Super B-Damon Battle Phoenix 64, Super Robot Spirits, Hayaboshi Quiz Uza Kataisen, and 64 Trump Collection, Alice in Wonderland. There are also sections called Game Dream Believer, and Editor's Notes, and a comic strip called Rockon Dream Diary. This page is an advertisement for the Nintendo 64 game Extreme G. It's promoted as the fastest game on Earth and highlights its high-speed bike racing action. The ad mentions features such as intense rivalries, looping and cornering, and 4-player battles with Rumble Pack support. It also mentions a special offer of Killer Loop sunglasses as a bonus item, while supplies last at the store. The game was scheduled for release on May 29th, with a price of 6,800 yen. The publisher is Acclaim Japan. This page is an advertisement for Dr. Mario on Super Famicom via Nintendo Power Cartridge. It highlights Dr. Mario as a puzzle game where you match capsules to eliminate viruses. The advert describes it as a fun and engaging puzzle game, allowing for computer battles and competition with friends. It mentions the game can be obtained by writing to Nintendo for 3,000 yen and is available at Lawson stores. The advert also shows screenshots of the game Peach in a nurse outfit, and viruses, and mentions the game is for the Super Famicom system.